At least you made it.
Hi, boys and girls, lads and lassies. Welcome back to another Saturday night where we managed to make.
You didn't do the beginning again, PJ. You just didn't do it again.
And I didn't do the beginning again. My God, here we go. I've got a sticky note on front of my computer, but I've been that busy today. And basically, I'm looking at my camera. Underneath my camera is a sticky note. And I forgot. Sticky note.
Well, the orchestra and I are going on strike.
That's okay, because as long as you post it, they're on strike as well, so we'll probably not receive it. Everything's on strike at the moment.
Oh, my goodness.
Teachers are on strike. Nurses are going on strike. The post is on strike.
I said, didn't you? Your ambulance drivers were going on strike as well, right?
Yeah, but we'll not notice. We'll probably take 1/2 hours instead of 8 hours to get here. So.
Yeah, I saw that. That was, geez, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We got the lawyers on strike as well. We got the.
I don't notice any difference.
That just means hell's frozen over.
What? Wait! What are the lawyers on strike for? More money?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what I don't. If lawyers are the same over there as they are here, are they employed by the governments or
the first 10 years of you being a solicitor, which is the initial start of doing legal stuff here in UK, you can make as little as £10 per case once all the bills are settled. So it is not profitable to be a lawyer for your first couple of years. But terrible. Once you start reaching the barrister level and everything, you are on 6 digits.
Anyway, the lawyers are going on strike is because the government is letting all the criminals off with things, and that means the lawyers are not making money. So they're actually on strike because they're not making money because the government are too lenient. The police aren't arresting anybody. The prosecution services aren't charging anybody, and the prisons are letting them out. And the lawyers are going, "Where's our cut?"
Well, reversely to our friends across the pond, of course, the Conservative Party's a blue pot is theoretically blue, so it's not surprising we've got a blue pot with a blue state that the criminals are being released. Obviously, copying the blue people in America seem to do a similar thing.
No, you're 100% right.
In all fairness, over here, the Red Party and the Green Party do the same thing. So, and the SNP Party do the same thing. So they all doesn't matter what colour they have.
It's quite literally one rainbow uni party.
Yep, they're all the exact same. They do the exact same things. They'll sit there and go, "He's terrible. We need to get him out because he's doing this and doing that." And as soon as they're out, they just swap places, and then they go, "He's terrible. He's doing this and he's not doing that."
Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah, it is. The globe. You're right. It's the
Never
globe.
mind.
It's right across the board. They're all doing it.
If they have no one to blame, they will just rehash any old grievance.
Yeah,
I mean the SNPs. Nothing wrong with the desire that they want the referendum again. Although I think they're kind of idiots because they promised once in a generation election.
Yeah, they were told it was once in a generation, and they said fine. And as soon as it went their way, they went, "Wait a minute, we want a redo."
But did they say
generation?
They've
been banging on about it since 2014.
Did they say generation
8 years ago?
Did they say generation of what though? I mean, once in a Mayfly generation. I'll tell you what. Some of these things remind me of, and at the risk of starting politically here, that also with the reminds me back for Brexit and the rest of it, and with the SNP wanting to go back into the EU and the rest of it. Do you remember the X-Files episode of Crusade? Babylon 5 Crusade?
Tell me some more, maybe.
I do remember it. The episode was they found an alien planet and the people were dressing like people from Earth. So the government ones had suits on and everybody, and it's because they had sent out probes and found pictures of Earth and they received their transmissions. So what they did was the government started manipulating the stuff and deliberately doing it so people would know it was getting done. But it wasn't the government. They could blame the people from all the flying saucers. So it was the people in power who told the government to do all these things. So if people were starving, it's not the government's fault. It's the others who were forcing it. And so the government were using it as a way of manipulating their populace, and they let it happen. So they let the leaks come out that things were changing or being done, and it's all about the aliens in control.
That was a lot like the press secretary briefings we have every day.
Yeah, but the aliens are in control.
She is.
That's saying a lot for the aliens.
Yeah, I know. If aliens were in control, I wish it was the Bobaverse aliens. We need a Bob.
That's what reminded me of it. Is exactly that. Is that why do they want the other party? You know, why did the SNP want? Not really. You know, why did the SNP party want to join Europe? Why did British politicians not want to leave Europe? Well, they've got someone to blame. They can blame it someone up the line.
Yeah.
Rather than take
we had the British government and the European government to blame, so that was two layers. Then as soon as we came out of Europe, then you've only got the British government, but you can't blame them too loud because they're putting a lot of finances into Scotland. So they need to actually get out of that under Europe again, and then you don't notice the finances and you can blame somebody bigger.
Yeah.
It's not crazy, it's not nuts. No. But at least we actually had a TV thing referencing that all amongst all that. That was really
pretty good. Yeah, that's true.
You got the X-Files in there. Benji, would you sit in your butt? You're no jumping across. He's sitting in the arm of the chair trying to jump across. So yes.
I see him. You can make it.
He can, he know he will, but he knows he's going to get. I'm just going to put my hand up and that'll hell go doink onto the floor. Benji. So, what have you been watching this week?
Well, it was my anniversary yesterday.
Yes,
happy anniversary
to your wife.
Let me tell you what we did. Let me get my accent down first, though. Hello, Governor. At a sugar and spice day with the trouble and strife, went for a bowl and chalk, had Mona Lisa and Pig's Ear at the Rubber Dub, and later Calvin Klein and Sexton Blake.
Fine. Can I point out that Alex isn't here to translate?
I was just going to say,
I know they had this the trouble and strife as a wife, the Rubber Dub's the pub, the sugar and spice, the love of your life.
Sugar and Spice Day. Yes, it was a Sugar and Spice Day.
Nice.
A nice day.
Nice.
Awesome.
See, Sugar and Spice sometimes refers to the love of your life because she's your sugar and spice. She's all things nice.
There were no boys references in this one, though. Although I have found, I think, at least 7
well, if you'd said something bad about the trouble and strife, there would have been a lot more.
Vices.
But what did I watch this week? My son made us watch the annual viewing of the Twilight Zone episode, The Night of the Meek. That's the one with Art Carney where he becomes Santa Claus.
Yes.
It's such a touching episode. You know, he's the town drunk, but then he gets the powers of Santa for the night, and it's fantastic.
It's lovely.
I don't know if I mentioned it last week. We watched the A Christmas Story Christmas. That's the current one. The follow up with all the cast members are older now. Obviously, it's the same kids in the sequel, and it takes place in 1973. And it was very enjoyable. You know, obviously not as good as the first because you never catch that magic again. But it was really good.
Yeah.
And I think that was like my Christmas viewing for this week.
Yeah.
And I do have a
heard
space
somebody-
heater on the way, so I don't have to dress like this next week.
I heard that some people have been watching movies that are not Christmas movies, no matter what they say.
Ah,
Somebody put it on Twitter.
I know,
today.
that's debatable. That's debatable.
It's an action movie set at Christmas.
Now I have a machine gun.
Are you okay?
Ho,
Oh,
ho,
Still a
ho.
Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. Full stop.
It's an action movie set at Christmas. Otherwise, any movie that's got Christmas in it is a Christmas movie.
Trading Places, also a Christmas movie.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
No.
PJ's like, no.
Benji, tell them.
Tell him, Benj.
Tell them. You back me up, and you can get a treat.
Well, I must have been mistaken, because I thought I'd been watching some things which seemed to have female action co-stars, but apparently there weren't any before the Hunger Games. So obviously
No,
I was
that's true.
mistaken.
Yes. Jennifer Lawrence was the first female action star.
Yes, I know. Sigourney Weaver, all that.
Oh
Okay.
God! Don't even get me started on that.
Carrie Fisher. Nah, she didn't
Well,
exist.
did you see Friday Night Tights today? Somebody dug it out. The first female lead in an action movie was over 100 years ago,
Yeah, in
Oh, wow.
1923 or something.
1923.
Well, I was
That's not English. Was that referring to me? I'm
Yeah,
not
what
being-
you-
I'm-
what you
It's
said.
your trouble in straight sense.
was that referring to me?
yeah.
I'm speaking in your native tongue. Oh no, she's one of mine though. She's one of ours.
Yes. Yes, she uses the weird English, the ones where they spell colour with an OR instead of no UR.
Yeah,
Things
we
like
can't
that.
Yes, I've been
Where
through
they
the.
say
Don't even get me
alu-
started on the spellings.
where they say
I-
aluminum instead of aluminium.
Yeah, the amount of. I wish I had a pound for every strange look I've had every time I've said aluminum. It's like what?
Well,
I don't think that was in
Apparently
the book. I'm
it's
pretty sure aluminum
aluminium.
is not in the book.
But I have
apparently,
been
originally was originally aluminum, but then the other I was added. I can't remember if it was mispronounced, but I seem to recall reading somewhere that it was aluminum, but then the other I
see?
was added to it became aluminium. I'm not sure.
Now,
how
see, I like that,
correct
Colin,
is.
because see, we started out correct. We started out correct.
Oh dear. Was the Alamo a
Oh, dear.
Christmas movie? The gentleman was called
Mhm.
Santa Anna.
That might be a little bit of a
that's
stretch.
reaching.
But-
That's reaching, even by my standards.
That's a
But
little
by the
bit-
way, there is that other I in it now, so it's an extra syllable, so it's aluminium. It's in there now. And that's canon. I was watching, I don't know, I don't do Twitter, as you know, so I
Yeah.
don't know how much it was on, but I was watching, wasn't Friday Night Tights, it was, I think it was Critical Drinker doing a live stream, and that came up, and the chat was absolutely filled with Jennifer Lawrence was the first, this, and this. Everything.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence said, "Let there be light."
Oh, bless
you
God.
know,
Yeah, she set herself up.
So many of them.
Yeah.
So she's
Well,
literally just
Friday
sitting in the
Night
chat,
Tights were doing
the
that
chat
as
putting them
well.
up.
They were basically having a go about how she was the first woman to actually say women and stuff like that. They were coming out with all the stuff.
Good. Did
And
you
it
actually
was-
see the interview?
No, I
With,
saw
Viola Davis?
I saw on other channels where they're just
Oh my
that bit.
god, that is hard to watch because
Yeah.
it's bad on there's several layers of bad in that interview. It's not just the Jennifer Lawrence is the first
Doesn't help that she's
female
talking
hero
Viola
stuff.
Davis.
She has her head so far up Viola Davis's ass that I'm surprised her head didn't pop out of Viola Davis's mouth.
Yeah,
it
that's
was
pretty far.
basically-
Terrible.
They were basically just. It was a case of you have to actually make sure this movie is, and then suddenly, it's all a case of how great it was, and then
Talking
Oh.
about that the Woman King or whatever it was called.
yes,
I saw something apparently to try to have some degree of fairness. Jennifer Lawrence left school at 14. because her mum wanted her. I saw posts on some chat, so I don't know how accurate it is, but it was she left school at 14 because her mum wanted her to be a model and she wanted to be an actress. So she probably has spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg.
Yeah,
As I said,
it's going to be a close call.
Yeah. Well, I said on posting, I think the rabbi.
you cut out again, Colin. You cut out after you said rabbi. That was it. We heard.
I think it was because the rabbi. I think was when I first saw this referred to, and then it was in others. And I said, "Give the poor dumb a break. She's been she's what's it? I said, she's a narcissistic. She's a Hollywood stuck in. She's a narcissist stuck in.
Well, she's a narcissist stuck in a place with other narcissists.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. They're just a bunch of narcissists.
Yeah. Narcissi.
Narcissi. I like that.
A bunch of narcissi.
A bunch of narcissists.
That sounds like a good sort of creature name or something. A narcissi.
I wouldn't want to see one. They're kind of scary and they're just in the singular.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Like, would you give me peace and quiet?
Nope.
That's because I'm in on my Todd tonight, so the two of them are sitting here and making sure. They obviously sit here a lot, but they usually disappear through because they realise they don't get attention. Now they're here, and I've not got anybody to say, go and see, and they just basically that's it.
I think I'll put the correct pronunciation in chat.
Aye, they are narcissists.
Bunch of narcissists, aye. I can't argue with you.
We cannot argue with that at all.
I cannot argue with you there at all.
Narcissinium, yeah, I like that one.
I'm here for you. We're Americans. We make up shit all the time.
Yeah.
We know. We've seen your president.
Well,
But
what was it they said about Ronald Reagan? But Robin Williams says it was Walt Disney's last wish. Make me a president.
yeah.
And unfortunately, it's Disney's last wish now. Make me a president. They've made one. Unfortunately, they forgot to add the brains.
Yes, they did.
All the charisma. All the ability to speak properly.
It's got all the charisma of Nicola Sturgeon. Oh, obviously, he's got a wee bit more brains than Nicola Sturgeon. And
That's not a very high bar.
Use Americans can't understand him the same as you can't understand Nicola Sturgeon. It's a Scottish accent. Although, being Scottish, I understand what she's saying and it still sounds intelligible. So...
That's right. I don't understand anything that he said, our guy says, because it doesn't make any sense. I get the words and the syllables. It's the way they're run together that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. What was it? Ernie White says he said all the right words, not necessarily in the right order.
In the right order. So I have my Christmas lights up. Can you see my Christmas lights?
Mine's are going up tomorrow. Mine's are going up tomorrow.
I need bigger ones in here, don't I? I guess I do.
Let's see if we can see them.
I was trying.
Yes, you can.
You can barely see him. So Mrs. of the Empire was helping me with this, and she's like, "If one of those action figure falls, it's going to cavalcade, and I'm getting out of here." And I'm like, "It'll be fine. It'll be fine."
I'm putting mine up tomorrow, so because that's what the decorations are all going up tomorrow. I'm lazy. If it was up to me, they wouldn't go up to Christmas Eve and they would come down on Boxing Day. but humbug.
That's no fun. See, our tree is up. The external lighting is lit. There are wreaths around the house. But Mrs. of the Empire wants to set up the nativity scene and the mantle herself. So all of that has been sitting in the foyer for about a week now on the floor, just waiting. And so I cleared off the mantle the other day. She's like, "Why are you doing that? You're rushing me." So I'm like, never mind. So the box is dead. I try. I'm just a man. I'm barely that.
I use that excuse. You can't complain. I'm a man. You can't actually have everything.
Yeah.
Something just occurred. I had a thought, so I have to get it out while it's in there. On Monday, this is pretty exciting. On Monday, from my nerd group in San Diego, we're going to go see the 1982 Conan the Barbarian in the theater.
Epic.
Yeah, I know. I'm very excited about this.
Fun. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
cool.
mean, is that the Conan the Barbarian? Was it the first one he punched the horse?
Yeah, the first one. Well, whatever the first one was, the first one. Not. I may be messing up the name, and I apologize if I did that. I don't remember. Well, no, wasn't it Conan the Destroyer at the second one?
Conan the Destroyer. He punched the horse,
which was not very good. Not very good. But Conan the Barbarian, the first one was just so good. And so I mean, I haven't seen it in years, and so this will be this should be pretty cool. I'm taking Matt the drummer with me as well.
But Conan the Destroyer did have Mariam Darbo and Sarah Douglas in it. Two good reasons to watch any movie.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So this today, we went visiting, and our friends who do for charity, they have a Santa's grotto and everything. And this was their house. This is outside their house. So it is.
Wow.
And they basically got a wee
nice.
Santa's grotto, and the kids go in and meet Santa and get a wee gift. So they do.
That's
and
very cool.
They collect for charity.
Someone's
And
got
that's
their
the
own
only, if
generator.
you're driving down that whole street, that's the only one that your eyes get drawn to. Because basically their whole front is just everything, and in their gardens and everything.
Wow.
But they do it for charity, and the good thing is it's been up on YouTube and stuff like that, so they've had a lot of hits on it.
Oh,
with
nice.
people and subscribing and donating to charity. So
there's another dude who does that. I'll find out his name and mention it in a minute. He does it for charity as well, and he does a huge Halloween display outside and inside, and he's doing one for Christmas as well. He does an amazing work. He's got like animatronics and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Well, the two of them do that every year, so they do. And all I can think about this year is how much that going to cost them in the electricity.
Yeah. You're not lying.
But they're doing it, and they basically all the gifts come out of their own money. It doesn't come out of the charity money, so they purchase gifts for every kid that goes.
Wow.
So they do. So they do it every year, and they do a really good job. So we swung by to visit them, and we're way there.
That's the sort of people that need to be in honours lists.
Yes, that's exactly it. People who do that for people, not for
picking sports ball players or whatever.
He punched a camel.
He punched is it a camel or a caramel?
Is there a log? Was that in 2 or was that in 1?
I know he punched it. It must have been it was a camel. Yes, no, he's Shield Wall's actually saying, but I remember that I thought he punched the horse, but it was just the cat. He went, and the horse went, or the camel went thunk out. He punched it out. But
gosh, speaking of getting punched, I watched Willow.
Oh, the TV show or the movie? I will actually
the
both because I saw you actually doing the comparison.
Yeah, don't watch it. Watch my review, please, because I need the views. But don't watch Willow because
I've heard enough that I'm actually going to give it a pass. Luckily enough, I don't watch new stuff because they're mostly crap.
You're safe.
Yeah, we kind of do that. We kind of try and stay away from new stuff, but
Guardians was good though. The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special was good.
Yeah, you said. Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, we just kind of like avoid new stuff. Not so much deliberately, partly deliberately, but partly because we're just watching so much other stuff and catching up with stuff that we wouldn't have time. Being a horror person, you might more like Wednesday if you haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I'm hearing some good stuff about it.
I heard good things about Wednesday, except the final episode. accordingly the way they did it sort of unravels the whole series.
I don't know. No.
I haven't reached that far, but Wednesday, there was so many jabs at the woke, or
Yes,
like
but
trying to
it's
get
not
the woke in.
nothing to do with the fact that they overwoke it at the very end. What they're saying is the storyline, the things that happened in the final episode, sort of unravels everything they did leading up to it.
I don't know if it unravels it. There's a few bits in there that you think, okay, maybe that was obviously in retrospect, but I enjoyed it. But I mean, obviously, there were a couple of bits. There's a few bits in that which are definitely current day, but not necessarily. But you expect these things. I didn't think they were that intrusive. I noticed one or two of them, and I thought, but then again, the way they're doing that, the character coming out with that is a Dixie Blonde anyway. So
yeah, there you go, Roman. File 13. Now that you've watched Willow, when did you schedule your meeting?
That's not nice. That wasn't meant to make me feel good. Remember, I watch these things so you don't have to. I take this burden upon myself.
Are you moving to Canada for the
No, I don't want to die.
Yeah, is there some kind of issue with a wagon in the new Willow show?
No,
Even I've heard about this one, the wagon, where if they'd left the wagon, they would have got there in time. But they spend that much time rushing to help to get the person. They spend more time fixing the wagon.
Yeah, was it Shad going in nuts?
It was Shad. He was actually
Shad.
having
Was it on? I think he's done it a couple of times. I think he did it on Friday Night Tights, but I think I saw him a little bit. I've seen bits of his thoughts on it as well. I'm sure I've seen that somewhere else as well.
Yeah. Well, Miranda, accordingly, you can ask Roman for this one. Don't watch Willow, the TV
Do not
show.
watch Willow. Do not.
No,
I mean, even the original one was fine. I thought it was okay.
It was entertaining. That's what it was.
It's not a masterpiece, and I know they were hoping it was going to be, the Star Wars the fantasy of Star Wars, and and it wasn't. It was an okay movie, very watchable, entertaining.
That's the thing. It's the difference. It was entertaining.
Yeah, and this has none of that. This is also flawed. It's flawed in so many horrible ways. And I'll just drop one more. They literally hate, whoever the writers were, hate every male character they wrote into the show. They hate them all, including
What
Mad
a
Mark.
surprise!
Does it surprise you?
What a surprise!
Yeah, they hate them.
Look, if you want to watch Willow other than the film, there's 7 seasons of really, really good Willow. It's Alison Hannigan and Buffy.
Yay!
Yes,
the best Willow. Yes, the only Willow.
Was Alison Hannigan.
Yeah.
Even though she suddenly decided to do a Supergirl system and go gay at one point.
What is your dog doing?
He's basically been a pest.
Get out of here! Scottish dog throwing with PJ maybe.
Well, it's not a Scotty, it's a Yorkie, so it's Scottish Yorkie throw.
That's looking at you like you're an asshole. That's hilarious.
Look at them looking.
Oh God.
What? Okay. They're speaking to me, but I'm trying to actually ignore them. They're going, feed me. I'm going to have to re-question them, Audrey and Audrey too.
Yeah.
No, sorry, actually, no, I'm wrong. Sorry, I can't have seen Buffy because the one I actually. Oh no, that was TV. So maybe there were TV action heroes before Hunger Games. So maybe
Buffy. She just said action hero. She left it.
Kelly,
not TV.
It's not connected. It's there. You're there. Hello, you got it.
Hey,
Julie.
Hello.
You made it.
You made it.
You made it. Did you get drunk enough at your party that you can remember where you're at? Yeah.
Remember, this is Jane Austen birthday party. It was a tea party, no alcohol.
Ah.
Wait, what?
Oh my goodness.
What kind of crazy party is that? What are you doing to yourself, Julie?
That's
It's
my
Jane Austen party. Did you not hear?
I don't know what that means.
what means.
Does that mean all the men fell asleep? I don't know.
Been to the Jane
No,
Austen
all the men
countryside.
off their feet.
There's definitely alcohol served
Hey.
there.
There was
A
no
lot of
alcohol
it.
at this party. There were no men at this party.
This was a proper Jane Austen party then.
Yes.
Oh, so
because there was
Yes.
is there not Mr. What was his name?
No.
Mr.
Darcy.
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 Oh, I can't remember.
The fact that I know that makes me very sad.
In the interest of full disclosure, I'm not on Team Darcy. I am on Team Wentworth. He was an agent.
Yep. Yep.
Don't know what that means, but I'll go with it.
It's Jane Austen's Persuasion, my favorite of all her books. And he's a better hero than Mr. Darcy. Just saying.
But did he fight zombies? Because Mr. Darcy did.
Yes, Mr.
Yes,
Darcy.
I did see that one.
Yeah.
I did see
Oh,
that. I
Pride
did
and
see that
Prejudice
one.
and Zombies,
Zombies,
wasn't it? Yeah.
This is zombies. Yes.
I
Yeah,
saw
the-
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies at a preview in Tampa.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And it was the room was mostly filled with zombie fans. There
Yeah.
were a couple of us Pride and Prejudice fans in the room. And there's one scene where the guy who plays Mr. Darcy is proposing to Lily James, who's playing Elizabeth Bennet. And my friend Alicia and I were sitting there just howling with laughter. We thought it was the funniest thing we'd ever seen. And the zombie fans were looking at us like we were insane.
Because
I bet you-
they were
yeah, I
there
mean,
for the zombies.
I bet you were very proud that there was a couple of Jane Austen fans and you were precious against the zombies.
The best, I tell you, I mean, Lily James is a fine actress. Not a problem with her as Elizabeth Bennet. But believe it or not, the best thing in that movie was Matt Smith.
Yay!
Yes. It was the
I
vicar, wasn't
forgot
it?
about that.
And I'm sure it was because
He
I still haven't
was-
seen that.
Brilliant. Oh, you must, Wendy. You must. Matt Smith as Mr. Collins was brilliant because Collins is a pompous ass kind of guy. He's
Right.
not as smart as he thinks he is, and he's a suck up to the rich woman who owns the living, and he was brilliant.
He was the
Interesting.
vicar, wasn't he? Or the vicar or the verge or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, the clergyman.
Because I think the author that wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies has written. I think there's at least one. I think there's a Sense and Sensibility one. I've got.
Monsters.
I was going to say I've got Anne Sea Monsters in my mind. I can't remember. I don't know if I ever filmed that one or not.
Oh, yeah, Sea Monsters. You're right. I forgot about the Sea
They
Monsters.
didn't turn it into a movie, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But anyway, I thought the party was supposed to start at 2 my time and at 12:30 my time. As I was working on my pick of the week, I got a text from a friend who said, "Why aren't you here?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, we're all here." And she sent me a picture. And I said, "Oops." So I ran around like a crazy person, crazier than usual, and put some decent clothes on and got there at the same time I'd planned on leaving here to get there.
Oh, that must have been fun.
Yeah, so the party was, my part of the party was only 45 minutes. I was very upset. But what are you going to do? And while I was sitting there, the alarm on my watch went off saying party at 2 o'clock.
Oh,
Anyway, enough about my crazy day. I'll get
Well,
to the rest of the week.
All I can say is Roman. She certainly got a lot of pride, and she's certainly damn prejudiced. So she may well have done.
oh, there we go.
Tush.
Are you saying I'm prejudiced?
No, Jennifer Lawrence. Roman, I said
Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence wrote damn prejudiced.
Wait a
No,
minute.
we're following along with
Is
the chat
Julie
here.
actually Jennifer Lawrence? Now I'm questioning everything.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I listened to part of this in the car on the way home. I had it playing in my car.
Yeah.
I
You
will
realise Prejudice and Zombies was actually based on Jennifer Lawrence's early life?
her autobiography.
Yeah.
Really?
Everything was, yeah.
My
She
sister-
did you know she painted the Mona Lisa as well? Amazing. So
And she-
talented.
And it's a
and she
self-portrait.
I was going to say, yeah, she must have had him. Obviously.
Oh, this one is great. This is just growing legs.
No,
and
sorry,
just
no,
going
I'm
on
sorry,
and
no,
on.
she. I know. She didn't paint the Mona Lisa.
Oh no.
No, because there are 6 copies of the Mona Lisa.
Yes.
And 5 of them have got the words "It's a fake" written on
This
them under
is
the
a
paint.
fake. That's correct. From a
that's
certain
funny.
time code.
So,
Oh, I remember that from City of Death.
That's
Yeah.
correct. That's the one.
That's right.
and my brain just completely blanked on the actor that played Scarroth.
Julian Glover.
Oh,
Julian
yes.
Glover.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thanks. Yep, that's
Who is-
him.
He
What a
played
marvelous actor.
Did any of you ever see Wish Me Luck?
No.
Yes.
It's wonderful. It's a series that came out in the early 80s. It's about British people who were sent to France to be part of the French resistance.
Yeah.
And Julian Glover played a good guy.
Yes.
And Jane Asher played the person in charge of the whole thing. And very, very, very young Jeremy Northam was in it.
Jane Asher's character was quite possibly based on a real character. Hold on a second. I'm seeing if I can put my hand on my video, on my DVD. No, I can't.
Oh, you own it?
I've got it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think.
I loved it.
Yeah, because there was when when Colin Gubbins set up SOE, there were some women who were influential in the training side as well as those who went into Europe.
Uh-huh. There's a Canadian series that you guys might want to check out if you like World War II stuff. A Canadian series called Wish Me Luck. I mean, not Wish Me Luck, called X Company.
Yeah, I've never got around to watching them. I've seen that sometimes. I've never actually got around to watching them. Yeah.
It really is. It's very, very good. They God, who's in that? What's his name? Some really good actors are in that. One of them I actually know. Oh God,
Jennifer Lawrence.
Is Jennifer Lawrence taking over from Chuck Norris jokes?
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
It was Jennifer Lawrence that taught Chuck Norris how to do the fighting and do the joke.
Yeah, but Wish Me Luck is excellent. Really, really, really good stuff.
There was an old. There's actually also an old mini series called A Man Called Intrepid, and it's based somewhat loosely on the autobiography of William Stevenson, who was called Intrepid, and he was very close with a certain American president and helped persuade him to come to our aid, shall we say. He was active in the States. But the TV series, they make it a lot more about the actual practicality of the SOE. And interestingly enough, one of the lead characters in that, because Michael York's in that one amongst others.
I like Michael York.
David Niven plays Stevenson. David Niven plays Intrepid. And
Jennifer Lawrence plays the president.
Yeah, probably, yes. But you've got Barbara Hershey as the same person who was appallingly insulted in Doctor Who, in my personal opinion. They're kind of much closer to the real story of Norman Yet Calm. She is the main agent character in The Man Called Intrepid. And the training when she goes to fight to when she gets captured. But it's about probably mid-80s, maybe even 70s, because they're all very young in that, all quite young in that. But that's actually quite. That was quite a good one as well for that sort of thing. There were a few good shows like that back.
More good shows back then than there are now. Okay,
Yeah,
one thing.
Surprise. There's always been good shows way back then. Mind you.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything because I prefer them. But
Three I did not watch this week was the Harkles reality show. Did not.
Apparently, that's getting.
I didn't even click.
I don't know what
on
that is.
the trailer.
I've never heard of that one.
Harkles.
She's mispronouncing a certain prince and
Oh, that horrible thing.
You mean basically?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wish it hadn't come together in my head, but now it
It
does.
has been a nutmeg.
Yeah, basically. You mean it's actually they've got a new title for it. Liars Incorporated.
Yes.
What was that?
Liars Incorporated.
Ginger.
Lies. You've heard of Dances with Wolves. This is lies with the Sussexes.
People in Sussex are pissed off that they're still using Sussex and they've never been there.
Well, considering they obviously says they wanted to be out of the royal family, they didn't want to use it, but they still wanted the money, the recognition, the titles, and the protection. But they wanted, and they also wanted their privacy. So with Netflix giving them all that money to record everything they do, they're obviously getting that privacy because nobody's paying attention to them.
Now, she's a grifter and a half, and he got sucked in by it.
Mm-hmm.
She's just awful. I mean, I did read Tom Bauer's book, and even if only half of what he says is true, he's an awful person. Truly, truly awful.
Do you know what showed she was an awful person?
Pardon?
Do you know what showed she was an awful person?
Which one?
So
Which thing showed she was an awful person?
The bit where after the Queen had passed, or during the Queen when she was out, she was mocking having to curtsy to her.
Oh, that yes.
That shows what kind of person she is. His grandmother just died, and she sits next to him and takes the piss out of her grandmother.
Yeah, and he doesn't care about this, you know.
He just sat there. Shows what type of people they are.
Yep.
And she thinks that's Netflix aren't much better because they thought that was the thing to put out in a trailer for the
Netflix.
program.
Netflix puts out some terrible stuff though, and I don't just mean poorly produced content. I mean bad. They did that Cuties thing a while back, which we were all
Netflix. My money is not going to that.
No, and I'm able to watch Netflix now because somehow, but no, I don't have a subscription. But yeah, they're but every now and then they throw like a decent series out there, so it's like damn it.
The Ranch.
Wanted to the Crown, and I won't.
The Ranch is funny. I like The Ranch.
Horrible. Mm-hmm. I mean, people are believing that the stuff in the Crown is true, and it's just not.
I know that's the thing. They think it's a documentary.
I know,
and it shows you that people actually have got zero common sense if they think that something that says, "Oh, by the way, this is a drama," and then they think it's a documentary. That's how it actually happened. If they were going to show you what actually happened, it would be boring.
Yep.
But it's the same as everything. Everything has to have a twist and a turn. But
otherwise it's not interesting. Real life is generally less interesting.
Yeah. You look at some of the actual true life events that they've changed because they didn't think they were interesting enough, to the point where they made them so untrue that the people who they were starring in them are actually the people who they were about were turning around saying nothing to do with me. That is all fake.
Yeah.
It's typical Hollywood. Oh, only 50 people died here. That's not exciting enough. Let's blow up a car as well. Right. And let's make it so that this guy who's helped them actually was the one behind it. And you're sitting there thinking, really?
Crown, did you see the bit? I'm drawing a blank on the name of the Welsh town where there was the landslide.
I know what one you're talking about. But
yeah.
They make it the Queen. They had the Queen saying, "Oh, I need to pretend to cry." I mean, it was disgusting.
Yeah,
of course, because these people don't know how to cry, so they actually think everybody's the same.
Yeah,
Look,
they're
Megan.
emotionally absent.
Give me a minute. Left eye, one tear, go.
Yeah, I'll
Have a
make
van.
you cry. I'll make you
Yes,
cry.
thank you. I was just
I'll
looking
give you
it
a
up.
kick.
Yeah.
No,
I'll
I
give you
just couldn't think what. Yeah, I remembered it.
I know it, and my mind was just drawing a blank.
Aberfan.
Aberfan.
Yeah.
That was horrific.
Yeah, it was. But the fact is, they think
That's
that, or the
Yes.
Queen, because they don't know it, she probably has no emotions about it. Bill, I just, and I was a royalist, but now the Queen is gone. I think it's been classed now as I was a Queenist. So the current royal family I don't care about, except Princess Anne. The rest of them I don't really care about. But
Like Princess Anne.
yeah, it should have been a matriarchal thing. So it should be.
Well, they
Yeah.
Going down from the Queen to Princess
we
Anne.
talked about it after she passed, PJ. What would have been better, and of course, I'm clearly not in charge of the royals, is if they had skipped over Chuck and went to William and his family.
Yep.
Because you'd have a young family, the whole. It would have been a beautiful thing to watch, as opposed to the old geezer on the throne.
But they can't
No one cares.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
See, the problem is, I know it sounds unfortunate. He's in a very sad position because he spent 60 odd years of his life preparing for his mother to die so he could get a job.
Yes.
When she became queen, or 4.
Say again?
He was 4 when she became queen, so he's been the heir for 70 years.
Yeah. So he spent 70 years waiting for his mother to die to get a job.
That's terrible.
And it is a terrible thing to be in. But
exactly.
yes, he's prepared for it all his life. However, you must get to the point you realise maybe I'm just a wee bit too old for it, and I would not be the right person because he's an environmentalist, which he's not kept his mouth shut about, and B, I know a lot of people think he committed adultery and married the person he committed adultery with. And I don't care that the fact is he had to marry Diana because they wouldn't accept Camilla. That's an excuse. Anybody else could have walked away. His grandfather did, or his great uncle did, whatever it was, walked away because he wanted to be with an American woman, but a woman. So it's not as if it's unheard of.
Fewer mistresses than Edward VII did.
Edward and Mrs. Simpson, yep. But that's what I'm saying. So he could have actually just turned down and says, "No, I am not. If you don't want me to marry the person I want to marry, then I'll just abdicate before I'm actually on the throne." But he didn't, and he just went along with it. So as soon as he went along with it and then started committing adultery, sorry, he's not a person I would actually follow into battle.
I would not.
Given the double standard, her adultery is treasonous.
Yep.
I would not be surprised if he stands down after a rather short period of time.
I reckon 20 years.
I don't know. I mean, because God rest her soul, the Queen vowed on her 21st birthday to serve us, and she damn well did for the rest of her life. Now, Charles is in a very different situation. He's in a very different world. Let's be honest about this. I would not be surprised if he comes to an arrangement with William and says, "Look, I'm going to do this for X number of years, 5 years or whatever, given that his age anyway."
Yeah.
And then to almost have a situation which we've had a couple of times in the past, where William is quite literally the young king, where literally you've almost got. He's in his 70s.
I reckon there's been an accord about it because William has got such a young family. Wait until they're adults, then he does not need to actually split his time. So that's why I'm saying 20 years roughly. I reckon Charles will be in a king.
He won't live that long, will he? What, he's going to be
how long his mother and father and grandmother lived.
They all lived to a ripe old
He's
age.
got the genes, you're right.
Yeah.
They all lived until a very ripe old age.
Yeah. But the thing is, yes, Mingme, but I think he'll not stay longer than 20 years. I think he'll wait until his
Damn, that'd be nice.
grandchildren are old enough that when their father is king, it'll not impact them too much.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to make it 20 years.
He was 73 when he came to the throne. So he's
still younger than our president.
In all fairness,
dinosaurs are younger than your president.
Than our
in
president.
all fairness, the world is younger than your president.
I know.
Dinosaurs are younger than our president.
Jennifer Lawrence is. Wait, no, never mind.
Jennifer Lawrence is his mother.
Maybe Jennifer Lawrence should be queen.
Do you want to get kicked off this stream?
Of what?
No, thank you.
Oh,
What? Define your terms. Queen of what?
We admired Queen Elizabeth, and she was a very, very neat lady. And the world
Cam. He can't step down because we saw the president of the United States try to step up and fall down, and if he's still president, I don't see why Charles would step down.
Oh God!
I know.
We're just
I
an
know, it's
embarrassment.
terrible. Right, so apart from that, watching The Crown.
What else have I watched this week?
Hey, Geeky.
I don't remember what else I watched this week.
This week on Let's Talk Geeky, we discussed the monarchy.
That's right. Actually, Colin, I was thinking of you. There's I just got an email about the great courses, Old English Literature, Language as History.
Don't think I've got that one.
Very good. The Great Courses is good.
Yeah, the great courses, I've got a lot of them.
Mm.
But this sounds interesting.
Yep.
Old English Literature.
We even did a stream largely inspired by the Great Courses King Arthur series.
Okay. Well, this one is instant video is $20.
Wow.
$20 US. So
Not so bad.
not
That's
so
good.
bad
That's
at
good.
all. Down from $234.95.
Oh my God, that's considerable. That's considerable.
That's the discount I can get
There
behind.
are
That's like
4 lectures. Yes, I'm really interested. Learning Old English, weak verbs. Learning Old English strong for God. Nightmares of German class.
Oh, yeah.
Nightmares of German class. I might have to order this. Might have to.
we had a parenting fail this week.
Oh,
So what we learned, I forget how the topic came up, and it's kind of irrelevant. We learned that my children have no idea what Happy Days is.
No.
No way.
Yeah, they have
Did
no
you
idea.
jump the shark in that one? Did you jump the shark?
We jumped the shark. But I mean, when we were kids, it was just on. You know, it wasn't like it was, but it was just on all the time. And then after it went off the air, it was on even more because it was in syndication. But but when my kids were growing up, I didn't really consider it. It wasn't just on. Because, it was out of syndication, old people, no one was watching anymore unless you had like one of those oldies stations that ran that kind of stuff. And we didn't. So it was like a weird rando topic about Happy Days came up, and my Missus of the Empire mentioned it to my daughter of the Empire. And she's like, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about. And we're like, and she's like, you don't know who the Fonz is? She's like, I don't know what a Fonz is. It's like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Right? It's just like generational gone.
Next, you'll be telling us they've never heard of MASH.
I don't think they have. I don't believe they have. I've
got something here not even you've heard of.
Oh, yeah?
Is it English?
It's what it's basically a part of my pick. So I'm going to actually just do this. Hold on, and it's
Pick of the week.
Yes. I love pick of the week.
I know it's a book.
Well, I know what a book is, PJ. It's unfair to think I don't know what a book is.
Goodies? So cool.
Wait, what the fuck?
I just thought I would wind you up. Actually, I wanted you to actually go. Oh my god, he's been kicked. Right, it is.
Goody, yum, yum.
Goody, yum, yum.
Okay, no, I don't know what that is.
Almost perfect condition.
Ah,
A whole £1 it cost me.
wow.
Really? Wow, that's
the
nice.
goodies.
So what
Bill
is
Oddie,
this
Tim Brute
goodies?
Taylor, and the goodies you've never. Oh, right.
No, I haven't heard. I
Where
really
do
haven't
we
heard
start
of it.
about the goodies?
Oh, the goodies are
Kitten
fantastic.
Kong.
Kitten Kong, yes.
You start with Kitten Kong. You don't.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
the
seen an
goodies
image of that.
were 3 guys in a trandom. Would you call
Yeah,
it a trandom?
Try and yeah.
Whoa,
try
whoa,
and-
whoa.
You know what a tandem is?
So it's a bike with 3
Bicycle.
people on it. That's what-
Right, so a tandem, 3. Basically, it is a tandem, but a tandem just means 2. But it's third. So the 3 of them have got that, and they've got an agency. People could hire them to do things, and every week it was something different. It's basically all it did was give them a thing. So the Ecky Thump was the best one, where it was all the martial arts. And of Yorkshire, they had one called Ecky Thump. Whereas the guy stood with the flat cap, which was about that wide, the dungarees, and he's got a black pudding in his hand. And then you would have the boxer coming up going, and then he would hit him over the head with the black pudding and go, Icky Thump. And that was the whole sketch. So you had Graham Gardner in blackface pretending to be Muhammad Ali coming up down the box, and then we'd hit him over the head. And the one that was hitting him over the head was the shortest of the lot, Bill Oddie. And then
who I've been told looks like me.
You look like Muhammad Ali?
No, Bill Oddie.
Bill Oddie's a twitcher. Oh yes.
Really?
Yes, he's a bird watcher, twitcher.
Yeah.
And he's had a couple of TV shows all about bird watching and stuff like that.
I like
Right.
some of their
What's
stuff.
this? What's this? It's
Interesting.
popped up. All right, hold on. This is the goodies. This is Kitten Kong.
Now for the latest report on Twinkle, the giant kitten, over to Michael Aspel.
This is day 2 of Twinkle's occupation of the City of London.
Michael Apple's a big name in the
All efforts to capture the kitten have so far failed. Despite strong protest to the police and the RSPCA, Twinkle is still on the loose. Michael Aspel, BBC, London.
you missed the last bit. It paused it. It paused the last bit, the big joke at the end. Did you see the big joke, anybody?
The cat got him.
The cat stood in him.
What did he know?
That was the big joke, but for some reason it paused and clipped by that, so you could hear the laughing. But that the goodies were just to hear them. It was like almost like a sketch show, but it was just the one sketch each week. So there was the one about them tracking down and trying to help with the Kitten Kong. The one about Ecky Thump. They had one where they were in the Tower of London and stuff like that.
Oh, and the adverts.
Yes, I've got the goodies on one of my shelves. So I have
the baked beans adverts.
Yeah, they did some. Let's just call them wacky and leave it there, because oh my god, trying to explain some of the jokes. The jokes are, you have to see them, unfortunately. Some of them are so crazy. Even now, you're sitting there thinking, "What was that about?" Yeah,
I'm sure they did.
Especially with a giant Dougal and a Zebedee from the Magic Roundabout.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Zebedee and Dougal. Do you know what the Magic Roundabout is, Roman? The Magic Roundabout was a kids show over here.
Oh, no, I'm not familiar with
stop
that
motion.
name.
So Zebedee was a Jack in the Box, and the boing boing had the spring on him. Dougal, sorry, that was Zebedee, and then you had Dougal was a big dog, and it was just a kid show, but it was a very well known kid show, and they had the figures, the Zebedee and the Dougal from that in the goodies, and they used it for some wacky hijinks.
I understand.
Yeah.
I do the same with Kermit the Frog, and the Grinch
Yes.
will be making some appearances over the holiday. So
Yeah, but the goodies, I'm so happy. That was the only thing I managed to pick up at the charity shops today. Charity shops are doing
Pretty good,
bad with
pretty
the
good.
DVDs, and I was so happy. £1. It will have pictures of Kit and Kong in this. So the Tim Brooke Taylor was always known. Did Tim pass recently?
Yeah.
I think he passed last year, and
Yeah.
they had some really good big guest stars in this show, considering it only ran six episodes, or was it 8 episodes? But like, for instance, I'm sure that picture there in the background, that's the Master Delgado.
oh, nice.
It looks like, I'll need to actually check in more detail, but it looks like he's standing behind the bar, and it looks like Delgado. But they've had some big names in it, and considering so, Graham Gardner, Tim Brooke Taylor, and Bill Oddie. Graham Gardner was the taller of them, bald. Tim Brooke Taylor always had his Union Jack outfit on, and he was always known for that, even after the goodies, being very British, very English. And then Bill Oddie was the wee one with the beard and the scruffy hair, and he was a twitcher, so he's been in other things, but it's always as the small scruffy guy. So they set a niche
Small,
for
scruffy
themselves.
guy. That's what you're known
They've
for.
set a niche for themselves, and they've all throughout the after that they actually were well known for it. But the goodies were great,
And
and I was
remember
very happy.
And remember the goodies advice. Do the funky
The funky gibbon, the funky gibbon. We are here to show you how.
Show you how.
That was their song. They had the song, the funky gibbon. So they did.
They also had, and I can't find the clip, but they had one of them when a certain stage show, and I won't mention it yet because it would spoil the joke, was really big. And I think that a particular Tim Rice, Tim Rice and Andrew, what's it?
Lloyd Webber.
Thank you, Andrew Lloyd Webber's. I think it was a big stage show coming, and you got this thing, and there's got this thing where Tim is standing for Parliament for election or something, and they did this sort of party political broadcast sort of thing, and you've got these two secretaries, and one's called Tina, and one's called Marge, and they're sort of saying, how poor Tim, he's in such a bad way, I really hope he gets in the restaurant. And he bursts in and he goes, "Don't cry for me, Marge and Tina."
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Now you know I didn't tell you what musical was.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if you get a chance, there'll be some clips from the goodies on YouTube.
So Melvin.
I would definitely, if you want to see what they're like.
Mm.
Yeah, Graham Gardner was a doctor, and then he turned into a comedian. He got better pay, as he said.
And he also
Better
then
hours.
became a monk. A very, very meddling monk.
Yes, big Finnish audience.
HR Puff and stuff. I
Sounds like a
remember that
song.
one.
Yeah.
HR
Oh,
Puff
HR
and
Puffin
stuff.
stuff was terrible. He was
Oh,
like,
I
it was,
Puffin
Puff
stuff.
and stuff.
Oh, I still have
I
the theme
hated them
song
so
on
much.
Yeah,
I hated
yeah. Jack Wild. Jack Wild was in it.
Oh, yes,
And
yeah.
Witchy Poo. Remember Witchy Poo?
Not Witchy Poo.
Witchy Poo, yeah.
The banana splits were my
I love the banana.
my
One
favorite.
banana, two
I don't know what a
bananas,
banana
three
split is.
bananas, four
Banana
bananas, sitting on the
Oh.
Sunday seashore. I love the banana splits. I grew up with the Saturday programs. That was it. Can anybody remember their names? But
No, I was going to say, I remember their Tarzan riff off, which is called "Uh Oh Jungle." Weird the things you remember.
One of them was Bingo. Something Snort was one of them.
Flooper or something like that.
It was Bingo. Oh, somebody knows.
Can't remember. Hold on.
Making things up now.
I know. The banana splits were
Banana
great.
splits.
The
They
banana
were so
splits
much
were one of
fun.
these ones. The guys in the costume like Barney. So the guys had these weird costumes, and they were a band. And you remember Barney the dinosaur, the big guy in the outfit. I love you. You love me.
Oh my
I hate
God!
that thing.
The memes that came out after that were hilarious.
You remember the guy? So it was a guy in an outfit. Well, the banana splits were like that, but they were stupid outfits. Like you had a dog with a police hat on, with its mouth sticking out of the side. Going, that was it. I mean, they were all. They
I'm
played
so
music
happy
on-
that was not here in the States when my kids were little.
Oh,
Because
they would have loved
the
it.
Barney thing's giving me PTSD as it is.
No, these ones were fun. They were basically just they were just introduced. They were basically the banana split show were the 4 characters. They would do skits as well, but it was all you would have. Like,
do you know what was the most fun? Was just watching the intro for that show was great.
Yeah, that was the best thing. But it was introduction just to cartoons from around the world. So not only cartoons, TV shows. So you would have Zorro, which was the old black and white Zorro. You would have Skippy the bush kangaroo. You would have what was the horse one?
Champion.
Champion of Wonder Horse, yeah. But you would also have the one, the horse. It was the Spaniard one, the Spanish one. Remember, wasn't it? Was it the City of Gold?
Oh, the white horses.
Yeah, the white horses.
Some of those are the ones you used to get during the kids' school holidays as well.
Yeah, but they were on a Saturday morning, so the Banana Splits was like an introduction show that had cartoons. You would have Danger Mouse, or not Danger Mouse. You would have Batfink. You would have
I loved Batfink.
Well. So they would basically just
Batfink
on Saturday
great.
morning they were introducing other cartoons for kids.
Ratfink, I think. Yeah, I found the
Banana
characters'
Splits.
names. The Banana Splits. There was Fleagle, who was the long-eared dog. Drooper, who was sort of like the. Was he like a? Oh, there it is.
One banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4 bananas make a bunch, and so do many more. Over hill and highway, the banana buggies go, coming up to bring you the Banana Split Show. Making up a mess of fun, making up a mess of fun. Lots of fun for
Bingo.
It's a Hanna-Barbera show?
Yeah, it was Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
I have never seen this.
It wasn't a UK show. It was an American show. It came over.
Just in case we get hit.
Oh, it was before. It did come out. Obviously, it was a little bit before I was born. But
Doesn't mean it was bad.
No. I'm not saying that it looks horrible, but that's beside the point. No, but I'm just saying that it was a little earlier than I was, so maybe that's why I'm not familiar with it. Like that stupid Puffin stuff. I remember that bastard, but these guys, I don't have anything. Sorry.
Yeah, but Banana Splits was just superb.
Oh, Julie, do you remember the New Zoo review?
God, Shield
Henrietta
Wall and the
Hippo?
Dragon. The Banana Splits were proto Teletubbies.
Oh my God! No! No, not in the same sentence. No.
What?
Teletubbies.
Oh God.
Well, I remember those things.
They look. You have to be like on serious drugs to like make that. Sorry, that just looked.
Yeah, I was already 13.
Yeah,
it's like a bad drug trip watching that.
There you go. I remember Battle of the Planets. I
remember that. No, I did remember Battle of the Planets.
Oh, I loved that.
The Banana Splits had Battle of the Planets, so that you could see Battle of the Planets. It was one of the bits in it. So they would do all the intros, and then it would go to a cartoon or a TV show, and it would basically. So they were there for maybe 4 hours, but they would only be 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here. and it was just an introduction thing.
Oh,
Didn't-
I
It
got
was
nothing.
fun.
I've got a vague memory of a cartoon, and I'm not sure if it was from Banana Splits or not, but of a cartoon series set in the future when another ice age had come in.
Not the Jetsons.
No. It was set on Earth, and I've just got these vague memories of it, and it was set on Earth. Because I remember clips like where there was, I said the ice had started, another ice age was, the ice sheets were coming down. And I don't know if that was Banana Splits or what, but
I don't think it was Banana Split.
no.
But
I mean,
I don't remember that.
it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't have been a zany comedy like Flintstones or the Jetsons. It would have been a more serious one. It would have been, even though we were kids, it was a bit darker because it was the.
I mean, it
Yeah.
might just have been something from
Yeah,
Saturday
Shield
morning
Ball
TV.
saying Thundar, or he's questioning Thundar the Barbarian, but I don't remember ice sheets in Thundar the Barbarian.
No, I don't remember Thunder Alabama, but
I
I
don't
don't.
remember
I've
Thunder.
just got this vague memory, so it could possibly be.
You didn't have television in 1522.
And of course they did. Jennifer Lawrence actually
Oh,
invented
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
My mistake. My mistake.
Jennifer Lawrence invented TV just after she escaped from Orleans.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
Oh,
guys,
that was a turn. That was a turn.
guys, I'm gonna go shortly because I am falling asleep.
You must
Oh,
be
dear.
shattered, mate.
You've had a long
Yeah,
day.
I
guys,
know. Well, I want to do my pick a week
Right,
quickly. If that's
okay.
all right.
Go for it.
Right. Thanks to Jim entertaining me and Colin, we came away with one Coca-Cola type drink.
Oh, that's different. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that.
It's a Swedish one.
Something?
Yep.
Oh, very cool.
Oh,
We've got the what were these, Colin?
Bilbar, Billar original. Is that
The foamy things.
Yeah, phone.
Oh, yes.
Yep, we've got jelly tots.
Ah,
Yep.
jelly top.
Them there.
Do not feed.
Swedish?
Swedish fish.
I've never seen those before. Those are cool.
Really?
No, I've never seen Swedish fish before.
Neither have
Oh,
I.
we have those here.
Bad
No.
news. Bad news about Rudolph. He will not be flying this Christmas Eve because I'll be eating him.
Oh, no,
Oh.
Oh my.
Just
No.
make sure you don't dig out the big red
Said I'm
nose.
sending Krampus after you, man.
You've got the elk.
You got the
I've got the reindeer jerky. You've got the elk.
Elf
Oh,
jerky?
beginning.
No, reindeer.
Oh my God.
Nordic reindeer jerky.
But the icing on the cake is because I had read a bit on the train, and I've got to say, Roman, thank you very much.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you dig it.
Oh,
Dude.
brilliant.
Yeah, I was
Very
watching the Star Beast earlier, and I couldn't stop laughing, and people were looking at me going, "What?"
superb.
Oh,
And
so,
it's a classic look to it.
yeah,
Perfect.
but I have to put it, after today, I'm just shattered because journey back, I would do it again, but next time I might not take the bike.
Well, well done. You did really well.
Yeah,
Because it wasn't just all public transport. You cycled a fair bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, my legs are killing me.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I can feel it in the morning. But yeah, I'm gonna bail out, guys, because I'm gonna go to bed.
Keep well.
Definitely, Alec. Thank
Right
you for
on.
joining us, and
No
I'm glad
problem.
he's had fun.
Yeah,
Next time, hopefully, I'm down in London. We can actually get together.
next time I can ship you in the crate and bring you down.
Like Tam, put him in one of those things from the grocery store.
Yeah,
Like Tam in the big department store. We just
Yep.
wheel him down in that.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm off to bed, and I'll catch you guys next Saturday. And have a great week.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Great
Have a
weekend.
good sleep, mate.
Right.
No
Enjoy that
problem.
elf jerky.
Sleep well.
Take care. Bye.
Right.
We might have started something. Elf jerky.
A little bit, yeah. I don't.
Elf,
I think there's a
elf
market for
jerky
that.
and reindeer jerky. Huh? That sounds ideal.
TJ,
I'd buy it.
I know you like the Babylon B series on the Californians moving to Texas. Did you see
Did
the
you see it? I put it on Twitter. It's
I know,
absolutely
I know.
hilarious.
episode about Bucky's with all the wall o jerky?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That was brilliant.
They have got some great stuff on that, haven't they? They basically, the Californians, they come up to them and meet them, and they're going, "Yeah, what? Do you need to rob us?" No, we're actually just introducing down here. People talk to each other. It's basically the difference between people in California and Texas. It was hilarious. Babylon B have got some good videos on there. You should definitely have a listen to.
It's better than a lot of regular TV series.
It is. It is. And it just takes the mickey out of it. So many. It's funny. But
It's odd you should mishear that as elf, because I've just finished. No, I've just finished listening to the.
It shouldn't be as funny as it is. I don't know why it's so funny. But
and I just started listening to Sullivan and Cross.
Jacob, that's a good one, Jacob Ironside. That's brilliant.
oh my god!
Yes, and the bad guys, the aliens in Sullivan and Cross, are elves. That's odd. You should mention an odd connection there to the Doctor Who one.
There's no word for elf in here. I just checked.
they're called knife ears. Look that up.
No, oh god. Actually, I wonder if elf is used for anything. No elves. No, Eiffel Tower is shower. Elephant and castle is arsehole, but no elf. There is no elf in the book. That's a little disappointing, frankly.
Yeah.
They have so many uses for that. Let's PJ's on the move there.
Yes, I'm on the
What's
move.
going on?
I'm just about to check something.
An elf jerky.
Right.
Do you have elf jerky? Because I want some. If you guys could send it. I mean, you guys have different shit over there, so.
Oh, nice one, Colin. Yeah, I like that.
Right.
Elf is on the menu.
The nearest Scots have got to elf is Elky.
Elf is back on the menu, boys.
Right. The nearest Scots have got to an elf is Elky. So it is Elky. A nickname for any male who has a Christian name, Alec. He's an Elky. Or a phrase, get off your Elky, means get up and go, get off your bum. Or he's an Elky, as in.
Yeah.
Isn't an elk?
Elky, elk.
Oh God.
No, isn't an elk the Scandinavian name for what the Canadians call moose?
No.
No. I thought they might have been the same animal.
No, the elk and moose are different critters. I've eaten both,
okay.
but they are different critters.
Both are edible. That's where the actual come in. They
Yes.
basically are in the same scalping unit.
Okay, I thought I'd heard somewhere that maybe it's somewhere.
Now we know a
Something is
rabbit
very
and an
funny.
elk. Now we know a rabbit and an elk are the same thing because you can eat both.
Yeah, same thing.
Elf tacos now we're on to.
Yeah.
I like
Oh
it.
man, elf tacos. That'd be so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now I'm
elk
hungry.
tacos.
So what are we having for
The
lunch
good thing
today,
about an
honey?
elf taco is you can use the ears to clean your teeth.
Oh. Pickled elf ears are really tasty. Pickled rice from
Oh, Jacob. Oh, that's brilliant.
Very nice.
On the spot with that one.
Oh my God.
Now, actually, see my programs that I've been watching, they don't actually seem that impressive now with all these jokes coming about because there was no elf in it.
Oh wow.
I've only watched 2 things this week, actually, since Wednesday. Is Psych. Remember Psych?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
The Psych was the most annoying guy in the. But how come the most annoying person is usually the star of the show in a lot of these? And it's all the characters around them are the characters you're actually quite happy with. Whereas the main character is always annoying. But
Well,
you look at.
I can answer your question these days, but that for back, I'm not sure.
But do you look at things like How I Met Your Mother? Ted was the most annoying character.
Yeah, he was the least interesting character on the show.
Yeah, and that's, to me, Psych is the same idea. What you would need for Psych to work is, I know it sounds terrible, but you would need Gus.
Predator.
You would, well, that would work, but you would actually send him after Gus, and it would all be, what you call him, Sean's fault, because there's no consequences to anything he does, and it affects everybody around him. So they basically, especially his friend Gus, who's always taking the mickey, they call him Magic Head, and he rubs his head and stuff like that. You would need the Predator to come in, take the Gus because it's Sean's fault, and Sean would actually grow up and get a pair. Now I've made Psych a program I really would like to watch. Oh. Psych versus Predator.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you, man. That's good to know.
Oh,
that one. Bring the elf meat and bring it to me raw.
oh. Oh no!
Oh my God!
Yeah, but the problem is seeing the Rings of Power. That might have slightly different connotations.
No, those are the connotations I think that were definitely made there.
No, but the difference is it wouldn't be bring me the elf meat and bring me it raw. It'd be bring me the elf meat, bring me it raw. Different connotations. Not that I've said anything. But
I was going to say, yes,
anything.
all the quotes I know that have come out of Rings of Power seem to be. I was watching.
Oh wow!
I was watching. Chap, I can't remember. He's the Duke of. Brain's completely switched off. Somewhere on an island. He's a Northern Irish, and he does very clever parody videos. And he was doing one about comparing how they so subtly and how Morpheus Clark performance subtly sold what an absolute psychopath Galadriel is in Lord of the Ring in Rings of Power, including doing a scene by scene comparison with a scene from Schindler's List. He's done 7 of these, and he's really, because he literally just it completely seriously.
See, whoever wrote that, or like me, Schindler's List, must be a pickle, because how many people, Schindler was there's also, they make lifts. How many times have people actually gone on? Because over here, you go in to a Schindler lift, and basically there's a lot of jokes about entering Schindler's lifts over here. So you can imagine. Somebody's actually sat there and think, you realise when you film this and send it over there, they have lifts called Schindler's. So you get Schindler's lifts and you get Schindler's List. So snap. But that's just me. But there you go. An elk and a moose are the same thing, but they're different.
What?
I guess in North
Basically, a European elk is what an American call a moose. Same animal. In America, the elk is what they would call a large type of deer. It's not a moose. It's confusing.
No, it's not a. Yeah, it's not a moose.
That's what I'm saying. But the European elk,
But it's not a
is
deer.
what
It's
yous
not a
call
deer
moose.
either, though. They're all similar but different.
Yes, but it's what Melvin's saying is what you call a moose. European, it's called a European.
You guys call an elk.
But over here, over there, an elk is a different. So it's basically it's confusing because
got different names for the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about a European elf?
Available in North America. Sounds as if we had it.
It's either a typo or it's an RP bin.
Oh
No. You need to give the predator a chance. Because she trained the predator. She made the elk. She trained the predator. She created elves. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
She was Sauron's boss. Come on.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Jennifer Lawrence gave Tolkien the idea.
Jennifer Lawrence was talking.
Well, she gave it to him with more women in it, of course, and he, being a misogynist,
He misogynized it.
exactly.
He manned it up.
God. I actually have something this week.
Yay!
And it's kind of funny because I didn't just get it. I actually got this, I got this last Christmas. I haven't opened it yet though, and I rediscovered it while rummaging through the closet today, and it's actually really cool. The problem quotes around it is that if you see everybody behind me, aside from the Grinch, they are all in the 6 to 7 inch scale for my figures. I'm going to move my mic aside so I might sound wonky.
Yeah, Roman can't handle it bigger than 6 inches.
Anyway, so
walked into that one.
It is the Exo Jean-Luc Picard from First Contact figure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Very cool.
And, now I can't take it out because then I'd actually have to go in.
Yeah, no, I've got my Judge Dredd still in its package because I don't want to take him out.
So it's real with the glare. I'm trying to get it not getting out. But he is really cool.
That looks like an amazing sculpt.
All kinds of stuff. I just don't know what to do with it, which is why I haven't opened it yet.
If you post it over to the UK, we'll find out something to do with it.
You put him in a wheelchair and call him Magneto.
Ooh.
Or you put him in a wheelchair and call him Picard and just actually and he goes,
well, he is that old now.
Yeah.
Once I get my office, once my son Jacob the Empire gets out of the house, I hope you're watching, son. Then I'll have somewhere to put it. Just not yet.
Well, that is a cool figure, I must admit.
It's like I said, it's gorgeous. It's just
that just
really
looks really
big.
awesome. That figure, yeah.
So,
the sculpt on it
one
looks
day,
amazing.
One day, Picard. One day.
Right. Anybody else get anything for Pick of the Week?
Oh, I bought a new television this morning.
Also good. Also good.
Also good. Yeah, where you can watch us back on it.
Exactly. My old one is 10 years old. I bought it when I moved into this house, and it's starting to have a blue vertical line through the picture.
That's pretty much
from your viewing.
It's done.
The vertical line of death.
Exactly.
Well, the line that draws your eye in, no matter what's happening, you just see a line.
No, you're staring at that goddamn line.
Nighttime, and something that takes place at night, like a lot of the movies we watch on Sundays.
I'm sorry. Everybody in the chat is just they're gold today. They're just so funny. That's great. Oh, God.
There you go. Jane's got that as well.
And I ordered a new Blu-ray player.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
And this one, because the old one is freeze, 10 years old also. But the new one will come in time for me to watch something that has not arrived yet either. It is the box set of the first.
Right, box set of what? Colin just opened a packet right in the middle of that.
The first Doctor box set that's just been
Oh,
released.
wow.
William Hart, oh, superb.
Mine's
You
on
can watch,
and I
aye.
bought the UK, the British version. So with the new Blu-ray player, I'll be able to watch it.
Nice,
Superb.
because you've got the multi-region now.
Region one.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
do they still do that over there? Is it still different regions for Blu-ray and stuff?
Yes.
There's like
That's
7
stupid.
or 8 DVD regions.
It is, yeah.
And then
That's
there's
insane. I don't get that at all.
The problem is they're just that what to make sure you can't buy the cheap one. You have to buy the one they allocate to you.
Of course.
Mhm.
So that's
Well,
what
so I
it
was
is.
actually looking. When I sent Alex that comic, I was actually looking. It was a Doctor Who, the second Doctor. It was a cartoon. You know how they've restored.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at that, and it wouldn't let me send it. It said, "You cannot send to this place," and I'm like, "Come on, Amazon, work with me here." But I guess it must have been a regional thing.
Yeah. See,
Which is
they have, and where is it? Where is it? See, the thing is, I've got all the ones with the new cases. I've taken the cases off, put them all in there because the CD cases all look identical. But with these cardboard cases that they're sitting in, they look so different. I just decided, I don't want something different on my shelf. It looks as so I've got all the cardboard cases sitting on a shelf there, out the way of the Doctor Who stuff because they made it look weird. Weird. The boys have got something a pick of the week, so they have.
Right.
You get a pick of the
Was
week
that
as well.
on Twitter? And they're cute out.
No. That's what they're wearing just now. They're basically luminous. So if you take a picture, or a light shines on it, it's bright. It's for when they go out. They also got their Christmas jumpers.
Oh, very nice.
It says ho ho ho. So
Oh,
the two have got a Christmas jumper. So they will get a picture with that, but I don't
That's
know.
great.
I must admit,
They're
I'm
going to be
getting
warmer than I am.
Well, that's exactly why we got them, because it is so cold. You're sitting there going, and the dogs are looking at you. You're wearing stuff, we're freezing, so they get jumpers.
They have fur coats.
Mind you, they're actually having nice and wee sleep.
What's the temperature up there?
According to my car when I was driving, it was -4.
Oh.
Wait, is that Celsius, right?
Yes.
So that's actually 70 degrees.
It's like high 20s.
No, I'm kidding. I know it's like I always screw up myself. I know it's like a 30 degree.
It's below real freezing.
It's below freezing. 0 Celsius is freezing, and we're below. We're actually freezing, 4 of us for one. But no, it is basically it's a bit chilly, as they say.
Well, here in Florida, it's beautiful.
Really?
That's a nice thick medical cake for now.
He's not wrong.
That would actually heat you up.
It's beautiful here in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, in Florida, you think it's cold when it's actually we are actually sitting with t-shirts on.
I know.
You're sitting with a big cardigan going, bloody cold.
I'm wearing gloves and shit. It's like 50 degrees in the garage.
70. I put a sweater on.
See, you use Fahrenheit, we use centigrade, we use real wet temperatures. You use that weird one that you have to multiply by 2 3/4 and divide by 6 to get the calculation. I don't know how.
Divide by the first number you thought of.
That's how we got to the moon, because we use standard. That's how we got there, because no one understands it.
We got it from you.
I'm thinking that. Jane nothing.
Feet and inches from you, dear.
I'd say nothing about that.
You do use Celsius, you just call it Kelvin. It's the same thing.
I don't
know, but in the Kelvin universe, it's really weird. So that really works.
Well, yeah, this
the Kelvin universe, the Celsius universe,
it's all the same.
Yeah.
Celsius, the same thing as -40 Fahrenheit. That I know.
Yes, absolute 0 for both is -40. Yeah.
And 40 Celsius.
-273.
Because the summer of 1977 was a terrible heat wave in New York, and the French papers said it was 40 degrees in New York, and meanwhile, I knew it was 104.
Mm.
So that's how I know that.
Mm.
But
That must have been global warming.
Yeah, and in Europe this year,
years ago.
see, in 1979, they were showing a weather report, and it was a hot summer. So you had 43, 40, 39, and they were all saying, really hot summer, just drink a lot of water. And then last year, they were showing weather reports, and it was saying 33, and they were in red, saying danger, it could kill you. They stay out of the heat, and yet it's like it was less than what they were reporting 15, 20, 30 years ago, and they're actually saying
on my
In the
phone,
70s, we were supposed to be having global cooling. We were going to have another ice age.
That's because it's all bullshit. It's all
they've been
bullshit.
saying it for over 100 years. And how many scientists have actually now come out and said the humans barely impact the climate because it's been happening for millions of years, ups and downs, ups and downs.
Planet's going to do what planet's going to do.
Global warming to climate change. That way it can be anything they want it to be.
Yeah, of course they changed the global warming because we're not all frying and that things aren't freezing. So they make it to climate change, and then suddenly it's all about air pressure. It's all about air quality. It's all about buy your batteries or else.
On climate change.
I know. Do you know there's a report that a city, I think one of the towns in Oxfordshire, is basically implementing a climate lockdown.
Yeah.
Basically, what they've done is split the city into 5, and you can. It's a 15-minute drive rule, so you can drive within your area as much as you want, but you need to buy a permit if you need to travel to another area.
East Germany.
And if you travel, and it's only a 100-day permit, and if you travel out with the 100 days out with your area, you get up to £1,500 fine.
Oh my God!
So in effect, and the councillor who said it is getting a lot of blowback, and he's effectively says, "Tough, you'll need to do it because we said." I wonder where they got that type of attitude from.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're actually getting locked up because of a bug that we can't stop. We can't actually do this with it. We can give you something that may help, but you're not allowed to see people who are dying because they might die. Don't understand that. But as long as you stay in your house and do what you are told, done it for 2 years now, they're actually expected to do for it. They're doing it across the board. They're basically climate changing stuff. They're talking about climate lockdowns will be the next big thing.
Another excuse for them to wield power.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the fact is, people turn around and say, we don't want this. They say tough, thinking they're going to get voted in next. And even if they get voted out, the next people that's coming in is going to just do the same stuff anyway. You've got no choice now because these are safe seats, what they call. They know fine well, no matter what, they're going to get voted in because you can turn around and sacrifice a baby on TV and they'll say, but it's a safe Labour seat or a safe Conservative seat. Nobody's going to actually vote against them because
that's what they thought in 2019.
Yeah. But it's the fact is, there's still most people actually turn around at the end of it and go, aye, but I'm going to still vote for them because I've always voted for them, or my dad always voted for them.
Yeah, that's insane, is what
we call
that
them
is.
yellow dogs here.
Yeah, they're not absolutely nuts. Politicians are lawyers. Politicians. What one do you step on first? Me, I would step on the shite, and then the lawyer, and then the politician. But but it's that type of thing. You basically, I know the thing is, I used to work with a lot of lawyers, really nice people. However, their persona never goes through. It's always the worst ones that go through. And politicians, there's a lot of good politicians, but it's always the worst ones because they're the ones that actually make the headlines. And I'm aware of that.
there's like 5 good politicians left in
Roman,
our
you're in
Congress.
In the world.
Now, Roman's in California. Have you bought your electric vehicle yet?
No, and nor will I.
You're not going to be allowed to charge it, are you?
Well, because at the point where we have to do this stuff, Mrs. of the Empire and I we have to leave for the safety of Florida, one of the free states.
Growing up fast, let me tell you.
There's space. I mean, because we could sell our joint here, our hobbit hole of a house, and buy a palatial joint in Florida. We already house is covered. It's just we have other things that come into play, which is why we're even still here at all. Otherwise, we would have bailed, years ago. But no, because I have these assholes that come to the door from time to time, and it gives me a chance to exercise my politeness to strangers who tell me they are from the electric company and they want to do a meter test because they want to check and see if we qualify for solar. And I start at a normal level. I'm like, no, we're not interested, thanks. Oh, but it's going to be the law, and then I start escalating to, well, as soon as it's the law, then I'm going to leave the state, and then they keep pushing, and then I have to tell them to go the F away. But I just do. It's just like go. You can get the F out of here now. Ooh, I hate them. I hate them all. I hate the state so much. I really do. I really do. Well, I don't know if you saw, now that you've opened this can of worms, they want to start doing reparations in California.
Oh, I know.
Governor, and it's like a state that wasn't a slave state is giving money to people who were never slaves from people who never owned slaves. That looks delicious.
Pickled Elfiers. It's basically Jacob Anthony. They actually found a jar of pickled Elfiers. It's a Halloween display.
Oh,
But there we go. Pickled Elfiers.
Wow. Impressive.
Isn't this just? It just goes to show there's something out there for everybody.
Indeed.
Oh,
The Toad and Broomstick is the brand. But super,
that's
Jacob,
awesome.
that is absolutely crazy.
Jacob is gold. He always brings the best stuff.
Yeah,
he makes these creative memes of me every week on my show. Some of them are funny. Some of them are not very flattering, Jacob. I'm going to tell you. Oh Lord.
now the thing is, humans have had an impact.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's usually all about the atmosphere rather than the actual thing, because the planet heats up and cools down. That's why Dickens, a lot of the Dickens stories, when it's about Christmas, there's always a lot of snow.
during an ice age.
On the whole, the snow is never normally as good as you see in these Dickens stories and all that. And all these other stories that have come off of that, they always show Christmas and it's right and there's a lot of snow. That's because during his time, when he was growing up, for about 8 years, they were going through what they classed as a mini ice age, where the Thames froze.
Yeah.
See that episode of Doctor Who with him and Bill are on the
Yes.
trip?
Yeah.
Well, that actually happened, but that's round
Yeah,
about
ice
the
festival,
time where Dickens was a kid growing up. So he grew up, 8 of his formative years, there was snow like that on the ground. So he just assumed that was normal, but it's not. But for him growing up, it was. So any stories he told, he always described it with the big snow.
It changes. It
changes.
There
The thing is, we will get warmer climates, we will get colder one, and then they say the earth is warmer than it is. No fucking in this is it snow. I wouldn't be sitting with a fucking heated blanket on me
other
just now.
planets are warming also. I mean, we can't be responsible for Jupiter warming.
I think the problem is it's such a
The thing is, there's a lot of things that contribute to it. Yes,
the sun.
The humans are contributing, but it's mainly to air pollution. Even the ozone layer, yes, it might be affecting that, but it's not affecting the wobble of the Earth and how close the Earth is getting to the sun in these cycles. So there is some things that we contribute to, but not on the whole, I would think, that we are fully responsible for the climate change.
And
The climate is changing no matter if we actually increase it by a degree or decrease it by a degree. It's still changing.
And the other question is, in the long run, is it beneficial or not? I mean, not all climate change is bad. Not all climate change is bad.
Exactly.
No, what is bad is what they want us to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to impact, people are going to be freezing to death or dying of heat in the summer. You're not going to be able to travel anymore because, your electric car can only go so far.
I heard about California. Did you hear what is it California have done? Is because their electricity grid is overwhelmed, so they're asking people not to charge their cars.
Yes.
And where was it? Is it Sweden has basically banned electric cars over the winter because it would overwhelm their grid, because it would cause people to freeze.
Yeah, so it's obviously the best thing to do, right?
But the thing is, when somebody says electric cars good for the environment, and I'm sitting there thinking, really, what are you using to charge the batteries? You're using coal and oil, and how are you digging out? What's happening to the environment when you're digging out the batteries, the lithium, the cobalt, and all that? You're stripping it.
You can't talk about that. You can't talk about that.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So, and it's all environmental. Yes, I can understand. The humans have had an impact on environment, cutting down forests. Yes, I can understand, and they've changed the landscape. Yes, I've no issues with that. I understand it. So, yes, if they continue to go where we're going, then even the Brazilian rainforest will disappear eventually because there's going to just be loggers are just going to go in. Nobody's going to stop them. If they need wood, they're going to get it. It's the same as anything. However, if you want to stop the fuel use, then use nuclear and actually try and work on nuclear. That way you're not burning fossil fuels and all that.
Yes.
But nuclear is bad for other reasons.
We've just had 2 years of nobody being allowed to go anywhere, everybody being taught to work from home. So why do they have to fly private jets to all over the place when they could have all these meetings online on Zoom?
Exactly. Hey, we have to have meetings online. Why shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Let the Harkles get their awards online.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, the Shibbles is that it's.
I know, but in all fairness, Kelly, you can't get shite online. You have to actually get that in person.
I don't know. Have you seen Twitter?
I'm sure Amazon would deliver anything. Okay, I'll let you over that one.
The thing is, I think there is nothing. I mean, it's a great idea to move towards it. I think the problem is it's being pushed too much
and too fast. It has to be done,
and there isn't any. It's being pushed too fast, and we don't have the technology for it yet. The technology, the technology is there. Yeah.
Let's have
we are building 20th century technology with 40th century ideas.
Yeah.
And they don't fucking work, so they're all 10th century brains.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, there was the medieval warm period, and then we went into an ice age with lots and lots and lots of volcanic activity. Summer of, I think, 1812 or 1814, there was no summer. It snowed in New England that summer.
Yep. It was when Krakatoa, there was
Krakatoa. The year
Krakatoa went off. There was, I think two or three went off. There was a big one, the Krakatoa. I think I'm sure I saw something about it.
Activity in those several years between the 13th century and now.
Yeah.
So of course it's warmer now than it was 150 years ago or 200 years ago because they were in an ice age and we're coming out of it.
Yeah.
Because Central Park used to be under a mile of ice. And there was a combustion engine that meant it melted.
One of the reasons that the Black Death had such an effect was that we were coming out of the medieval warm period, which had massively expanded the amount of food, etc., we could grow. Also, new agricultural technologies and methods and all the rest of it, lots of things come together. So there was suddenly a much larger population than ever been, which is why it was hit so hard when the Black Death came out. So yeah, and if you go far enough back, as Miranda said there, the oxygen, put the blue-green algae. The first real big, massive climate change would probably have been when plants started coming in and actually put oxygen in the atmosphere in the first place. You know, I mean, the climate is always changing.
Thank you.
It's just the question of, I think it's a valid question. It's just the problem to me is it seems that for some interest and some side will not let you argue the point. Will not, you know, they'll say this, you know, they won't say, well, okay, well, maybe we can still, you know.
Yeah, Kelly, see that one about the exhaling carbon dioxide. Did you hear what's happening? I think it was the Germany, but they're actually going to take. They're forcibly buying farms because it's
they're doing that in a lot of places.
and they're forcibly doing it, which means because to help with the climate, so it's to stop producing beef and all that because cows fart as well. So they have to be stopped, and they start, and it's methane, so they have to stop. That's the point where you turn around and say, have an alternative that works. Then say, right, we're going to switch from these cars to these cars. We're going to switch from this heating system to that heating system. You can't say we're switching, and then you've got something that doesn't work. In Scotland, they were talking about everybody had to get these new heater systems outside. That's okay if you've got a garden because you put the heating system in. It doesn't heat us warm. It never gets to the boiling point. It doesn't heat your house as warm. That's okay if you're down in England where it's warmer than it is Scotland. However, not everybody's got a garden. So all these flats, high-rise flats, how are they going to get it? They're not.
Yeah.
But then they actually turn around and say, oh, by the way, if we stopped all these wind farms, we'll give you electricity. Unless it stops blowing wind.
The wind farms
and the solar stuff, as long as it's not overcast. And they're saying it will not cope with what we've got at the moment. So if they're telling us to stop using the fossil fuels because we've got wind farms and solar panels, and then they're saying, but these won't meet capacity and they won't work.
No, they don't.
So the thing is, you need to have something that you know it works. Then they say, right, now we've got something that works. Switch to that because it's better for the planet. And that's the way to do it. You don't say, you stop using it. All you do is cause riots. And that's the problem. It's just a case of politicians think they're doing what they want is the right thing. And they're not.
I think Melvin's got it exactly right there. Exactly. It's not.
It's basically. They're trying to shut down things that they don't have something. It's an alternative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So as I was going through a rant, Melvin had already put that in the stream.
My brother California, and he has solar, and the state takes what he doesn't use. They just take it.
Yeah, but you
don't store it. That's the problem. So unless you have a battery, you don't store solar. It doesn't power your home. It just feeds back into the grid. If the power goes out, the power still goes out unless you have a battery.
He has solar, which is, his house is got the solar, yet they're still going to be part of any rolling blackout.
Yes.
You're still tied to the grid. That's the
my idea is if you've got an electric car, you're only allowed to charge it with solar or wind power. You're not allowed to charge it with fossil fuels because you turn around and say it helps the environment. It doesn't. You see these ones where somebody's charging their car, they call out a thing. The guy comes up, he puts a generator into the car, turns it on. The generator's burning oil and diesel, and they're saying, but it's better for the environment. And you're sitting thinking, are these people? They just don't obviously think, and that's the problem. They've been taught that if it's an electric car, it must be better for the environment. Doesn't matter.
Virtue.
Exactly, virtue.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
And the other thing is another thing. I remember a few years ago, back when I used to occasionally watch, or quite frequently used to watch Top Gear. there was a sort of a joke, part joke coming along about another problem with electric vehicles is they're silent. So
I
people
hate
don't
that
hear
shit,
them
by the
coming.
way.
Or sound.
So people, and there was, excuse me, some discussion of making the cars generate some sort of sound. And the part, one of the jokes was you get Jeremy Clarkson's voice, say "Get out of the way" or something, because they are so silent that people do not hear them coming.
They don't. They don't.
Mm.
Very good point. I'm just waiting for them to come up, tell us that we need to start flying solar-powered airplanes.
Cool.
Yeah, they'll use wind power for the airplanes.
Wind-powered airplanes.
There'll be a big sail 40 meters square, and there'll be one wee guy sitting there with a seat going, "Ah!"
Pedaling as fast as he can.
The dumb thing is, it's all very well, but it's fine. But what do you do when the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow?
Exactly. What happened in Texas?
Where are you then?
Exactly.
You've got to have some sort of generation. I mean, the ideal one probably would be if someone actually managed to crack safe fusion.
Well, Doc Brown already thought of fusion for a
Yeah.
car. Mr. Fusion.
No, yeah,
Like
Miranda brings up a good
basically-
point there.
Miranda's right. Plus,
Electric car batteries are hard to recycle. Solar panels cannot be recycled.
No, they don't recycle. And there's like a minuscule amount of precious metal in them, and it costs more to do the recycling than the metal is worth. So you can't even do it everywhere. California ships its solar panels to Arizona because they won't do it here because our state is.
Same. I believe the same is true for wind turbine blades. Can't recycle them?
It's all.
So all these things for helping the environment, you can't recycle, so you just dump them. And just think of the birds that have been killed by those wind turbines.
Yeah, it's the old Indian joke of who would cut the bottom off a blanket and sew it to the top, and think they're making progress. That's what we're doing.
I mean, the dumb thing
Politicians.
Well, yes, exactly. Politicians, the only form life form know that the more you get together, the stupider they get.
Indeed.
The less brain cells they have.
God.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to get going here.
No problem. We're only going to split we're going to be on for another hour because I need to split in an hour.
Okay.
Right on.
Well, thank you for joining us for Particle broadcast by
this is, I know, right? This got a little harsh. It's got a little harsh today. We got elf ears, we got Jennifer Lawrence, and you got politics. What more do you need out of a show, folks?
Predators.
Let's talk geeky.
I know, let's talk geeky.
So I don't think we're doing a show this Monday. No, I can't do a show Monday. I'm going to be at Conan. So next Thursday at 5 Pacific Standard, we're going to be doing the Search for Spock. So if anybody is up and about, that's going to be the one. So until then, thank you for having me on. It's always a lot of fun. I laugh too much, and then I hurt, and I blame you for it. So
that's what my wife says.
So you guys have a good week, and I'll see you around the interweb. And I love the Disco Dogs.
Remember, awesome. Wednesday is Enemy Mine.
Oh yeah,
I've seen that. I've actually seen that. So that's a maybe. I love that movie. It's a great movie. Dennis Quaid is fantastic. Lou Gossett Jr. The terrible miner people. That's a great movie. And not when I say miners, I don't mean children. I mean they actually mine. And that was a little bit funny. It wasn't great. I'm not going to lie. So anyway, folks, I will see you guys all later.
Take care, Roman.
Bye.
You've got two, Miranda. You've got two, you greedy person, you. If you've got two, you can probably jump all the way to the Andromeda Galaxy.
ZPN's a couple. Why? I need one to actually just basically get my man cave up and running properly.
Jacob, are you suggesting we might be living inside the Matrix?
Yes, I think
sure
that's
we're not.
Exactly what it is.
what is it? Somebody on Twitter said, maybe they're not stars, maybe they're just holes poked in a lid so we can breathe.
Oh, now that's getting into Stephen King's The Dome territory.
Yes, it is.
I know.
That's cool.
Yeah, God. The problem is, I think at one point they were using brain power as energy to fix the planet. Obviously, the batteries are done on that.
Yeah,
generation,
batteries are running out.
The batteries are running out, so they're
Well,
trying to
well,
find
that's-
other ways to
that's
actually
hot
keep it
air.
going. Hot air, that would work. There's plenty of
Yeah.
hot air.
Plenty of
around.
hot air in Washington and London and Paris and Moscow
Yep.
and all those places.
Yeah. So they should change from battery life, brain power batteries to hot air. That would work. That way the politicians will have a use.
Exactly.
The amount of hot air they come out with.
Continue talking, we just don't have to listen.
It's the old joke. You can always tell in a politician's line,
He's
his
moving.
lips are moving. Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you mean
And
if?
it's never been changed.
Mhm.
That still stands true, that one.
I don't know if any of you ever saw the movie 1776.
Don't recognise it.
Wonderful, wonderful movie about the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
I guess that was what it was about, because I know 1776 is a big day over there.
But it's a really good movie. It's actually decently historically accurate. But anyway, there's a scene in there where one of the delegates from New York, a man named Lewis Morris, they keep abstaining on every single vote. Abstain, New York abstains, New York abstains, New York abstains. And finally, John Hancock, who's the president of the Continental Congress, says to him, "What the hell goes on in New York?" And Gwen will appreciate this. Lewis Morris looks at him and says, "Have you ever been to a meeting of the New York legislature?" No. They talk very fast and very loud, and nobody listens to anything anybody else says, and as a result, nothing ever gets done.
Sounds familiar.
Years later,
Yeah.
nothing has changed.
Nothing
Nope.
has changed. The only difference is it's actually spread across the globe.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You said that. What was it? You were saying about the thing about the.
The what?
That,
you cut it again.
You're
So
breaking up.
that's someone you reminded me of that. Someone said that about the stars or reading holes or whatever. Reminded me. Someone pointed out that apparently that there was actually a website that said the Flat Earth Society offices all around the globe.
Well, the Flat Earth Society had a meeting, and it did state that people will be flying in from all points in the globe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've watched a lot. I know one flat earther. I know one who utterly believes it.
Wow.
She's a very religious woman, and she believes, as she says, word for word for the Bible. The Bible states it. My father-in-law is a minister. My mother-in-law is a minister's wife. Both of them are very religious, and even they couldn't stop laughing because it says nowhere in the Bible that the earth is flat. It's just there's a passage about sending something out to the four corners, or to the four corners of the plane, and it's because that sentence it's almost implying that there is no globe. So it's just because they're saying that, believe it or not, I think I was told that at the time when they were talking, they were on a flat plane. So because they were saying that in the Bible, so I can understand why people are taking the Bible literally. I'm not how this is that, but if they're taking it literally, I can understand where they're taking it from. But if they're taking it literally,
It's one of the
that's the point. You're taking it literally based on what they know at the time. Like now, I could say four corners of the world. I know the world isn't square, so there's no four corners to go to. However, it's a saying, it's a phrase, and if somebody takes me at my word,
like the far ends.
Well,
far
do you
ends
know
of
where
it.
actually one of the corners of the world is?
Well,
It's Doddyland.
Who?
Remember Ken Dodds and the Doddy
Aye.
Men? That was on that was on one of the corners that gets shaved off when the Earth was a cube, and they shaved all the things to make it a globe. One of the corners, and that was where Ken Dodd and his Doddy Men lived. I remember I remember the title music for it. Oh, no, the title music, the title pitch, and it was explaining where the Doddy Men live. And for Kelly, I'm assuming you don't know who Ken Dodd and the Doddy Men were. Well, Ken Dodd was a comedian, a stand-up comedian, buck teeth and all that.
Naughty Ash, wasn't it?
Naughty Ash, yes.
Yeah.
So Naughty Ash was the place where the Doddy Men. Doddy Men were like, I suppose
they were kids.
They were like puppets.
No, they were kids, weren't they? Did he mean kids dressed as adults?
No, they were puppets. It was puppets. You always saw them, but they were short. So Ken Dodd would do what Michael Bendine did with the potty.
I was going to say, you're not doing the potty time, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a similar idea. So he would be there with them and all these wee puppets, and they were the Doddy Men and stuff like that. So that's what it was. It was a kids' show by him, and they explained where the Naughty Ash was, where the Doddy Men lived, and it was the corner of the Earth that gets shaved off to make it a globe. It was quite a smart way of actually doing something that people actually went, oh. So when they saw the all flat Earth ones and the Earth was a cube and it was just shaved off.
Well, of course, to quote Stephen Fry, of course, the Earth isn't a globe.
It's not.
It's not a sphere. It's an oblate spheroid.
An oblique spheroid. Because it's fatter in the middle than it is, so it's as fat.
Yep.
It's not a globe, but
close enough.
Yes,
it's close enough.
It was a smart.
They said, what if you took a billiard ball and blew it up to the size of the Earth, the billiard ball would be rougher than the surface of the Earth. So,
I mean, if you look at the Earth from out in space, it looks pretty round.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you look at, I mean, if you see some of the pictures, the actual, if you get it right, you can actually see how thin the atmosphere looks in comparison to the rest of to the size of the Earth. But I mean, it always annoys me when people sort of start saying that Christopher Columbus, that Christopher Columbus, his crew mutinied because they thought, am I coming through all right? Because I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Are you getting a ding every so often?
No, I just wondered if my sound card was going again. No, that they reckon, they say that, but Christopher Columbus was a visionary and his crew mutinied because they thought they were going to fall off the. No, they didn't. They knew the Earth was round.
They've known the Earth was round since, was it?
Eratosthenes.
Was it Eratosthenes? And he, with his well, they've known that, and he actually calculated its diameter to within, what's it, 2% or something like that?
Yeah, he calculated it, because I remember, I think both Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson did articles about it on their two versions of Cosmos.
Yeah. We'll fly around that for a few days just to check it out, Miranda. Red Dwarf. I recognise that one straight away. The only other time I've seen one, it was Sue Lawley's Bottom, and it was in Bottom, the TV show. It was the bit where Eddie's under the fridge, and Eddie's under the fridge looking at Sue Lawley's Bottom, and Rick drops the fridge on his face. Yeah. So, I mean, it is true. I remember seeing the politicians on TV, and I was sitting there thinking, even when I was young, I was thinking, what a bunch of, how can anything get done? They just shout at each other. It's when you got a politician who's meant to be taken serious, one of his political opposition and making a state, and he's going, how can you take somebody like that seriously? You cannot take somebody seriously when somebody's saying something, they're going, try to make a point as if we think it's rubbish. sorry, you're an adult. Adults get up and speak. People listen to it. They may disagree with it, but they don't go and all this crap. It's, to me, that's what it shows. It shows they're infantile. A bunch of kids go in and somebody speaks, other ones will talk over them, they'll moan, they'll go boo and all that stuff. Politicians lose their adulthood when they get in, because as soon as somebody comes up they don't want to hear, the huff, the moan, the harangue, they don't even actually, they're not allowed to say anything, so they make all these words, they make all these sounds, because they can't be censured for making sounds, but they can be censured for basically talking over somebody who's got.
You sit there and you watch Parliament and you think, how the hell did we used to rule a quarter of the damn globe?
I know, God. I think it's when it was flat.
And then I think, oh, that's okay. We set the Scots and the Welsh out to do the hard bits.
Well, that's exactly. The Scots actually gave you what it was. We just got nothing in return.
Did any of you see the Twitter thing about the general wearing a dog mask because he can retire his real self, the furry?
Yeah, well, I saw the picture somebody put up, and it was almost. It was actually it wasn't the general. It was Biden wearing the dog mask.
Yeah, someone put a meme of that.
That's so kids will be scared of him.
And, oh God! And then they've got
some sticky hair.
A waste so-called specialist who steals women's suitcases.
Yes, I saw that.
That was unbelievable.
And somebody put up how much they earned. And they earned something like 100. They earned a lot, and then they still, and they're basically. Somebody even says, right, there's all seriousness, there's this person, and they're going into professional meetings, and they're going into this company to talk about disposal of Igni, and they walk in. What are the person at the other side of there meant to be? How can they take it seriously?
Yeah,
and that's the point. A woman walks in, no problem. A man walks in, no problem. But if somebody walks in and it looks like a clown, how can they take it seriously? So, and that's the point. It's people can't take it seriously. So the fact that he was a thief and stealing people's luggage, is anybody surprised at these nutcases? No.
No.
The thing is, people in general, male, female, people who are trans, I don't care about that. But if somebody's so arrogant that they push that as their only identity, that's when you should worry. Yeah. People go to work. In all honesty, half the people I work with, I probably don't even know their names. But I certainly don't know their sexual preferences, and I certainly don't know their home life or anything, what they do, how they dress out with the office, because that is unimportant. Doesn't matter who it is. If you're working with them, you work with them. So if I'm working doing support for somebody's machine, I don't actually just check what their sexuality is, what their sexual preference is, what their kink is, what they dress up. I go up and fix their machine and chat to them. I don't care. Male, female, straight, gay, bisexual. I don't care because I don't want to know. The only person's sexuality I want to know is me and my wife's.
Yep.
That's it. Everybody else is irrelevant. My daughter is irrelevant. My daughter's sexuality is irrelevant to me as well. One of my daughters is gay. Two aren't. But truthfully, makes no difference. If one doesn't have kids or two doesn't have kids, it makes no difference to me. And even my daughter who has a kid, her sexual preference means nothing to me. My grandson, his preferences means nothing to me. Because it's when people have these things that are their only defining quality.
Yeah.
How many people know people who are gay? But we don't just think as, oh, I know him, he's gay. I know him, we play this, we do that, we get together, we organise this, we do that. I don't think he's gay or she's gay. I just think
absolutely.
Oh, we need to get a game of this and we need to get together so we can do this. But that's it.
It's like what Martin Luther King said. We need to. He wanted people to be judged on by the content of their character.
Yep.
Exactly. I don't care what you look like, who you sleep with. I don't care. Just be a decent person.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. Just be a decent person. And that's why I said just now, is it transphobic to say this person's a common thief? He, she, it is a common thief.
Yeah. If you steal stuff, you're a common thief.
Clothes or men's clothes. He's a thief.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm yelling. You know,
Odd enough, there's a very, very straightforward, I think, one very, very straightforward and simple rule. Unfortunately, the person who, or certainly the person who I first heard it from, no longer follows it. And that rule is don't be a dick.
Yep.
It's known as Wheaton's Law. Yes. Him.
Yeah.
He came out with it.
See, the thing is that Melvin basically says he's never voted, right? Never see a politician. I think now, as I said before, at one point, probably we would have seen a politician we would have liked. Might not have fully trusted, wouldn't have left him in the house with unguarded, but we would have thought his ideas were right or her ideas were right. However, nowadays we don't vote for the people we think are the best. We vote for the people who are the least worst.
Yeah.
And that's the wrong way to run a country. I'm going to vote for them because they're slightly less corrupt than them. So
Never
they'll do
such
better.
and such.
I have to admit, I love my governor. My governor, I adore him. He's brilliant. He's done some really, really good things here in the free state of Florida. But one thing I look at is how many politicians go in as a normal person and come out fabulously wealthy.
Yeah. See, the thing is, there's a couple of people in the UK. Kerry Badenoch, I thought should have been the Prime Minister because she seemed to be the one with her head screwed on correctly. Right. And truthfully, I must admit, I was surprised she didn't go higher because all these virtual signals said they wanted a woman of colour as Prime Minister. There was she standing. But because she was too sensible, they didn't vote for her.
Yeah.
So all their virtual signaling went out the window when it was somebody actually looked as if they had brains. Oh, something just fell.
I remember.
I think she should have been in, and if she was in, yeah, I would have been happy and voted that way. However, problem is they put in who they want. So,
look what happened. Look exactly what happened.
Yeah,
exactly what happened. I mean, I remember years and years and years back in what it was. Back in the original run of the DC Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes comic, they had. If anyone's not familiar, it's basically set 1,000 years in the future, and you've got superheroes from all different all different sorts of planets, and basically one of the main characters' mother is president, and she becomes president by not wanting, but literally, if you don't want to be a politician, the people who don't want to be politicians are the ones who are appointed. I mean, it wasn't particularly well thought out. I think it was just a sort of an odd point, but it came out and they said, if you want to be a politician, well, no,
Yeah, the best one I saw, I must admit, I can't even remember what it was. It may have been Future Shocks 2000 AD, but it was a case of somebody would turn up at your door and hand you a letter. And you opened it and it basically says, you have been selected at random for the next year. So you are the Prime Minister for the next year. End of story. Anybody gets it. So you could be a bricklayer, you could be a restaurant manager, you could be unemployed. Your name is in that lottery, and it's a case of, here you go, you got a letter, you open it and it says you are Prime Minister for the next year. That is your job.
Here in the US, I think it was William F. Buckley, who was a thinker, philosopher, writer here in the States, conservative. And he once said he would rather be governed by the first 350 names in the Boston telephone book than people in Congress.
Because the thing is, it's the same idea. Like I think the same with actors and actresses. The people who want to get in, they want to go in for a reason. There is a good few who go in, they want to go in for good reasons because they want to help people. But as soon as they're in, they get drawn into the bits. Or, well, see if you claim that in expenses, we all do. Oh, you've claimed that in expenses. You realise if that gets out, you could get put in prison. So you might as well do this. You might as well. So they get dragged in.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're just as corrupt as everybody else because if nobody tells, if nobody's going to tell because they all do it. So, and there's very few people who will go, no, that's not why I'm here. I'm here for this.
Yeah.
But as soon as that one thing is done, they don't really want to be in it. So if they get voted in again or get persuaded to stand, in effect, a lot of the things is they don't care enough about it. They'll do whatever they can, but they're not going to push for something. So you might get someone who will join the thing because, right, they'll join the parliament because their area is going to have a strip mine and they don't want it. So they get in. And because they get in, their voice, they nip at all the other politicians until that strip mine gets put somewhere else. So they've won. So when it comes to this next time for re-election, they go, well, I only actually wanted in for that. And I don't want to actually stand again. So they'll try and convince them. As soon as they convince them, it's a case of, okay, well, I don't know anything about it. What do you think? And somebody else tells them what to say. And it's that type of thing. So you get good politicians who are only in for short terms because they're only in for certain things. But you also get politicians that get in with good intentions and get dragged into the mire.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah,
there is too much mire for them to get dragged into. Do you know what I should, honestly, UK, anyone, any country in the world, what I should say for any politician by default, as soon as you're elected, every year you're in power, you get audited. Every year, not once in a blue moon. Every year, every politician should get audited, and everything should be laid out. So we know where you're suddenly you were worth 100,000, you're on 70,000 a year, and suddenly you've got 15 million in your bank. Something's wrong there. So we want to know. But it's even the ones that are actually doing everything above board should be audited. Anybody who goes in should be audited, and it's the same as. See when somebody turns around and says, so really, I'm a really private person, then why are you a fucking actor? You're up there in front of people with this persona, but how can you be a private person when you're putting yourself out there in front of people? I never listen to that argument because what you're saying is you wanted the notoriety. Now you've got it, you realise that they're not going to leave you alone. Now you want your privacy. You didn't want it before you became famous, but now you're famous, you want it. You wanted everybody to look at you and chase you down the street going, now you're getting it. You don't want it, so you want privacy.
I was thinking then about very similar to what Melvin's put down there. I think if you become a politician, you should not necessarily not minimum wage. I think you should get, as a politician, you should get the average national wage.
Yes.
There should be a system whereby any expenses you incur because of your role as a politician are actually covered. So you don't have, because that's to do with, that's private expenses. It said so
you shouldn't have two houses allowance. If you're actually your party is Glasgow and you need to go down to London for something, then you don't get put up near a 5-star luxury hotel. There is a house. There you go. Everybody who comes down gets in that, and it's exactly just a place to sleep, eat, and that is it.
A lot of the people in the States, yes, some of them, like Nancy Pelosi's got a mansion, but there's other people where they rent a place and there's 4 or 5 people living in the same place.
Yeah.
But over here, they basically get a second home allowance, so they can buy a house.
They have roommates.
But over here, they don't. They basically, you could be a politician. As soon as you've got that, if you've got that money, you could buy a house in London and claim that as your main residence, and the one you lived in and where your constituency is a second home, so you get an allowance to pay for that. So they get that, and that's the point where it's corruption. Because why should you be allowed to buy a second home on the taxpayer's dime? You should be put up on a place, but not a 5-star luxury hotel. You should be put up in a place where you can eat, sleep, and go to work.
I take Melvin's point, but I think I think as I say, my personal thought, and I've not thought, it's just occurred to me, not something I've thought massively through, is that I see something like that. Say you've got a reasonable salary, because there are reasons why some jobs are minimum wage, etc. And let's be honest, being a politician is a job which has responsibilities. But that, as you said, no
Bye,
second
Miranda.
homes.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh, cheers, Miranda. Cheers, Shieldwall as well. But that you have a hotel. You've got a hotel with however many, with X number of seats in it, with enough seat and in reasonable living conditions, a reasonable hotel with a sufficient accommodation for any member of Parliament. Obviously, we're talking Parliament here rather than other politicians. And yes, spouse. So double bedrooms, so if they're married, and possibly other accommodations if children need to be brought in. I don't know. But so, as you said, so if you don't, if you can't commute, you come down.
Sorry, Colin. If you worked as an IT manager and you were sent down to London, you wouldn't bring your whole family down if you were down for a couple of days to do work.
Well, yes, exactly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're coming down there for a long period of time, but no, that's what I said. I mean, it's literally a case of I'm just thinking it. So you're right. Obviously, you're not going to bring your whole family down there for 4 days a week. No.
Yeah.
But I said it depends. But accommodations made. You've got sufficient expenses for you to do your job. Right. But then all the politicians, they know what it's like to live on an average salary.
Yeah.
Rather than these ones who are millionaires in their own right, fine. Even if the money is
a millionaire doing it, they just don't claim expenses. If they want all this extra luxury, they pay for it themselves.
It's because they are so far. I'm sure part of it is that they're so far out of touch with ordinary people.
Of course,
all the politicians from all parties.
These celebrities who tell you, yes, you should actually not go on holiday abroad as much because it's bad for the planet, but they'll get 4 private jets to go and fly backwards and forwards, and then quite happily turn around and tell you you're the bad one for doing it once a year. With 400 other people in the same bloody plane.
Yeah. Well, what's that one? The not James Corden, the other English idiot who's got a late night show, John something.
John
Oliver, I think, comes out a while ago.
He was really good in things like Community, but I
don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with him. I've seen him outside that what I've seen clips, but I think he's on thing. He comes out and he says when the cost of fuel started going up, oh, I don't mind paying $40 a litre for gas. I drive a Tesla.
Wait, who the hell can afford a Tesla?
Well, I mean, but the arrogance of the fact that perfect arrogance. I don't drive a petrol car, so I've got no concern about that being expensive.
There's a woman, senator. I think she's a senator or a congresswoman. I think a congresswoman from Michigan. Woman last name Dingle. She inherited a seat from her husband, and when he died. And she actually said, oh, I drove to Washington and I didn't have to get gas at all. Ha, ha, ha. Well, those cars cost a fortune.
Yeah.
And if you get maybe 500 miles of charge.
Yeah.
What happens if you get stuck in traffic?
Yeah.
I mean, if you get stuck in traffic in a gas-powered car, you can pull off on the side and call roadside assistance and get a can of petrol.
Yeah.
Somebody going to pay you a charger?
Yeah, I know. They buy a can of petrol because they've got in the boot of their car, they've got a diesel generator, pour it in, and then run it, and as if to say, I don't use petrol. Really? You've just ran that to charge that. Or you've just plugged it in there, and that's run by fossil fuels. So
Yeah,
Disney,
where do you think
somebody
people-
put that in the Twitter thingy to go with the elf pickled elf ears. Snagging me.
Like it.
Well, it's like
Our legislature is part-time,
Yeah.
and everybody has to have a job. You're only there part-time. I'm not going to give out any names or anything, but one of the attorneys I work with was a legislator here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And he was term limited from the House. He's term limited from the Senate, but he's part-time. He would work for he would go up every once in a while for a session, and then he'd come back and be a lawyer. We have the guy who took, who won the Senate seat after my guy left. He's an insurance agent.
Yeah, but that's the way it should be. Whereas it's people within the community who have got the time to do it, but they have. Even I wouldn't actually say people who are unemployed be allowed to do it because it's the same as if you're asking someone who owns a house to deal with public housing. We call them council houses. I don't know what you call them over in the States.
Public housing.
Public housing. So I wouldn't want somebody who owns a house to tell people who rent their house from the public how they should be doing it. I think if you're actually dealing with that, you should be one who rents a house. So to me, that's the way it should be. You shouldn't be able to tell people who live in public accommodation how much they should spend and how much how much space they're allowed to have if you own your home and you don't have that. It's the same as that if a politician turns around and says, we've decided to cut pensions by 10%, say, fine, there's a house over there. You go and live in it for that pension for a year. And if you can survive without touching anything else, you have to go to work, you have to do this, you have to heat your house. We'll get a car to pick you up and bring you in, so the transport's not enough, but you have to heat the house, you have to feed yourself for that money for a year. And if you can do it, then we'll cut the money by 10%. That's what people should be doing. If a politician puts something up, then they should be forced to do it for a year themselves. So if they're a millionaire telling you should only be living in £33 a week, then here's £33. You're not allowed to touch anything else, and that's including clothes. So the suit you're wearing in is it. We'll take you to and from work, but you're not allowed to spend a penny of anything except that to feed you, heat you, and clothe you for the next year. And if you do that,
it's almost on the point there.
He's awake.
I've been eavesdropping in the background. I had to charge my headset because people here were stealing it during the day.
I wonder who would do such a thing like that.
But it comes down to the one thing: a poor person is no richer than a rich person, and vice versa. It's the whole thing of living paycheck to paycheck. That struggle of you have to get up in the morning, you have to shower, you have to get to work. If you don't do that, you're going to very soon be out on the street. Yeah. And no politician suffers that kind of consequence. No. They should be put on that limit for at least the first year they are in service. Yeah. So that they know exactly what it is. If I don't get up and do my job, I'm out on the street.
Here in Florida, the governor is a full-time job, so he makes good money. But the Florida State House and the Florida State Senate, I just checked, they both earn, for a part-time job, less than $30,000, which...
It's not a bad weekly salary.
I'm sorry?
It's not a bad weekly salary.
It's annual. And it's, you can't, these days, Florida has just, since it's got so many more, tens of thousands of New Yorkers and New Jerseyans are moving here, prices have gone up. It's more expensive to live here than it used to be.
Yeah.
30,000 is not as much money as it used to be. But it's a part-time job. Again, the attorney I work with, he had a full-time law job and made 30,000 on his side gig, which isn't too shabby.
No.
But he's not a multi-gazillionaire because he doesn't, because it's not a full-time job the way, AOC. This is a woman who was a bartender 5 years ago, and she's now worth millions. How the hell does that happen?
It's nothing to do with corruption at all whatsoever. It's the same across here.
It's a massive brain power.
People who come in and they're working for the government, suddenly they become chairmen of the certain boards.
Yeah.
Isn't that a surprise that as soon as they became a politician, they got a pay rise and they got moved to the board of a company that they have nothing to do with? They don't make the decisions, but it's things like they're on fuel boards, and then suddenly the fuel prices go up. They're on boards for the energy companies, and suddenly energy prices go up, but it's nothing to do with that. But they're suddenly on these big salaries and chairs in the board of this company, 5-6 companies, and suddenly, oh my God, I've got millions in the bank. How did that happen? Really?
The Biden family. Hunter was, put on the board of an energy company when he knows diddly squat about energy.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
It sounds like 99% of the board of Twitter before Elon got it.
He fired half the staff, and the site works just the same as it did before. What the hell was
Elon basically, he didn't even fire them. He says, if you want to work, sign this contract. Most of them didn't want to sign, so they didn't come back.
Yeah.
So in effect, he basically got rid of 90% of the staff, and nothing's changed in Twitter. It's actually slightly better. And it just goes to show that people were just getting a job just because you've got the right politics, you can have a job. Me, see if I was in a job and somebody asked me my politics, I already know that's not the place I want to work. Because my politics and your politics should have nothing to do. It's like anybody here. I could say something, anything, and somebody go, "Oh, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with your politics." I know, but politics is nothing to do with what we're here. It's the same idea with TV programs. I think Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and no matter what people say, we still got on.
Yeah.
But
sorry,
you know what I mean? It's that.
We still love you, PJ.
I know, but that's the thing. I don't dislike people who enjoy it as a Christmas movie, and even though. And that's the thing. It's the same as politics. If I went in there for a job and the first thing they asked me was my politics, my pronouns, my sexuality, I would think they're prying. Why the hell would I want to work with somebody who wants to know where I put my? I'll be a kiddie about it. I don't want to work with somewhere who wants to know where I put my ding dong. But that's the thing. If they're the questions they're asking, then you automatically know. This is not the place for me. And that's the thing.
No, and a company like that is definitely ingsoc.
Yeah.
Because a company should not care at all where you want to be, shall we say, horizontal with someone else. Company has no reason to ask or wonder about that.
Exactly. But they do.
I think the only
my company doesn't, even though I know I can see some of their things on their social wall. You're sitting there thinking, "Oh my God, very woke," but it's not actually. I think they just put it out there so people actually can see it, but they don't actually go down that route.
There are some situations where some questions are valid. For example, if you are going to work for in a reasonably effective capacity, not just a sort of secretary or something, for a political party, I think it's quite well for them to say, okay, it's quite okay for them to say, what are your because if for example you are a Tory, you're a Conservative, you're probably not necessarily going to really get on that well working for the Labour Party.
Yeah.
So that and similarly things like if you are in if you're working with particular groups with and you don't get on, or your personal opinions, perhaps religious or something, are going to affect that, then that I think is a valid point for both for them and for you. But most of the time, no. A company shouldn't need to know
Exactly.
and
That's exactly
anything that doesn't affect your ability
work.
to do the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
I quite agree with that. Like, it's the same as I've heard some people with those. I've worked in a couple of companies. One of the place was one of the ladies who worked there was blind, and somebody says, "Why she got that job? Because she can't do it." I says, "Well, technology allows her to do it because if technology allows her to, she actually works it better than anybody because you can see what it says on the screen. She just puts the mouse around and it tells her what's happening on the screen." So her being blind is not an impact on it because she uses the technology to help the barrier of being blind, because her brain must be working a hell of a lot harder. You look at something and see where it says press OK to continue. She has to, the system has to tell her everything on its screen and a pop-up box, OK, continue, right, the mouse is the position of the mouse so she can click.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there thinking, how's that a negative? Yes, I've worked with people who have got a disability, makes them slow when they're walking and stuff like that. It just means that if you're actually waiting for something, how's that going to impact? They might walk slow. It doesn't mean they can type slow, or they email you the same way or kind of phone. It's things like that. People actually just assume certain things from different groups.
Jobs
And that
people can do with disabilities. I mean, absolutely. But unfortunately, there are people who are trying to get jobs they can't do.
That was coming up to the point where I was saying is, so you've got all these things, technology, but if I was wanting that lady who's blind to check out traffic lights, she's in the wrong job. It's a job she can't have. It's the same as the guy who maybe have the caliper, can't walk. If he was actually in charge of running messages backwards and forwards between offices, it's the wrong job for him.
Exactly.
There's things that, if it's a job to actually show hairlines, I'm the wrong person for that job. So we've all got things that we have limits on.
I mean, I don't know. You do have a hairline.
Yeah, it's a wee back here.
Yeah, exactly.
I've not got a receding hairline. I've got an advancing forehead. Yeah, and we're on the maybe 5 minutes because I want to actually finish early because I need to get the 2 dogs out before I head out, and I need to be away at 11. So, is anybody got anything coming up this week?
My first 5-day work week in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, your first 5
Well
days.
done.
That's not even a cheer. That's a.
I know.
Oh.
I have my new television to watch.
Well, see, there you go. You've got your new telly, big screen, Doctor Who when it comes through. Yeah.
And I did finish Shada finally. It took me a while, but I did finish it. I
don't know if I like Shada.
Episode on the disc in the box set. So I've seen the Tom Baker with animation version, and it was very good. Really,
I need to rewatch that again because I didn't really like Shada. I thought it was a.
Well, there's 2 or 3 versions because Big Finish did an audio version as an 8th Doctor adventure.
What they did was kind of cool because this one is the actual Tom Baker and Lalo video interspersed with animation for the bits that they couldn't film.
Yeah.
And at the very, very end is the current Tom Baker because there's a line at the end about something about in 200 years, and it's Tom Baker as he appears now. And
Check to see if the one that I've got is actually what one it is.
And the copyright date on the disc is 2021. On the episode, rather. So they actually.
Well, I've not got that one. I've not got the one in 2021. There's a shadow one person I've got.
But I'm looking forward to when I start the whole thing over again, watching the first Doctor box set with all the goodies.
Yeah.
I can't see it off the top of my head. Right, you lie down, I'll be getting you in a minute.
Avoid watching the box sets because I don't want to get distracted by all the extras. So I've been watching it all in BritBox.
Yeah, that's the thing. I found that out because there is I've got a couple of movies, and one of my friends says, "Didn't you already have that?" I says, "Aye, but this one's got all the extras." He says, "Is that not distracting?" I says, yeah, because sometimes I'll watch all the extras. It'll take me about 3 or 4 days to watch all the extras.
Yeah.
And by the time I come around to watch the movie, I go, I'll leave that for later because I've seen that in the past. And it basically distracts you. It is so distracting, some of the extras.
Who Quest on BritBox, except for Shada, because that only appears on the discs. And now that I'm done, I'm going to go back to BritBox and watch. I'm up to Tom Baker's last season, and then I'll go to 5, 6, and 7, and then I'll watch the movie again, and then I'll watch 9 to 12 and start back at 1 with the box sets.
Well, I might actually restart mines at 1 again. I like starting mines at 1 again. I've actually, the last time I started at 1, I got to the Planet of the Spiders, and then I stopped. So I stopped before Tom came in.
I actually bought Planet of the Spiders in physical because since you've got a white guy playing an Asian, I'm afraid it's going to get canceled on me.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yep.
I had 2 copies of Talons of Wen Chiang.
I was going to say that again as well. Yeah.
See, for my 1,000th subscriber, I'm going to 1,000 subscriber stream. I'm going to do a John Wayne movie, and I've got a John Wayne memorial plate.
What are we up to?
We're at 540.
You're gonna watch Genghis Khan, are you?
No, I'm actually going to watch Cowboy. I'm waiting to actually get this, see if this stream actually gets bounced. But I'm actually on. I'm just actually doing a refresh. I'm on 542.
Wow.
So that's 42 since last week. And it's been a quite a me, but I'm going to do one and I'll show you the plate I've got. I've even got it in the wee wrapper all ready to go because I've got the set, and this is it's from Franklin Mint.
My brother's company owns the Franklin Mint.
That's it.
Wow, do they?
Yes.
Yeah, so Franklin Mint, and there you go. That's the plate.
Chivos, yeah.
And then the other side it says the Duke.
Nice.
So that's the plate I'm going to give as part of my giveaway from my 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, wow.
I'll definitely throw my hat in the ring for that one.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's what I've said. Basically, what I'll do is when I get 1,000 subs, I'll put it in most of my channels leading up, and I'll give it a month so people can enter.
Can employees enter?
And the thing is, I will try and send it wherever their address is. So if they're in the US, part and parcel, I'm not sticking to the UK for it because why should I know it's a bit expensive for certain things, but a plate should be okay.
I sent a parcel to the UK that the postage cost more than the contents.
Well, I would
it's very sad
for that. I would expect the same for that. The postage will be a bit more expensive. I've got another thing to send to the States as well, and I'm expecting the postage to be a wee bit in the bit side. Eh?
I won one of the rabbi's giveaways, and I didn't check to see what the postage was, but I'm sure it was more than it should have been.
Oh, very good. I've been trying to get some of his Judge Dredd stuff, and I'm never in the giveaway. Always miss it. Anyway, yeah, okay. So Wednesday is going to be Enemy Mine. So So join us for our Wednesday stream. Thanks to everyone who was in the chat. The chat has been on fire tonight.
Oh, chat's been
The
great.
chat's been
Oh,
thick
yeah.
and hilarious.
Friday is the 16th.
Yeah.
16th of December.
Yeah. What are we going to be doing on the 16th of December, PJ?
Christmas is 2 weeks from
Friday,
tomorrow.
the 16th of December, we are playing Castles and Crusades.
Yep.
11 o'clock on the
11 or midnight, I'm not sure one there. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Tabletop Junkie, yeah.
I think maybe
Awesome.
Miranda was. We put it out to Miranda and that to see if she
I
was.
did.
I think Miranda might have actually been interested because she said she was going to have a look at it. So I'm
Yeah.
going to have it back. So
I did mention it to Kelly as well, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You did. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about that kind of stuff.
No, that's fair enough.
But so we might actually be able to. We might end up on a stream with Miranda if it works.
Yeah.
Yay.
So I've got tomorrow is my. I'm going to sit down and actually get because I've been so busy.
Did
I've read
you?
the book, but I've still got still got my character to create.
Did you get my? I sent you a message on Discord.
Yes, about it being too large to send.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. Because it was literally, we were literally on his stream. He was doing another rules stream, and he literally, I think he got an alert for it or something. He looked at it. Frustrated me slightly because I'd actually bought something else, part of which that covered for free, but it only cost me a couple of quid. So
yeah, but it's one of those things. I'll need to actually look at it, but I'll need to actually create the character. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. But I'm basically need to fly out the door in less than 8 minutes, and I've got the dogs.
Yeah,
to
be
let them
careful
know.
and drive safe. And
Okay, it's okay.
hope everything goes well.
If I leave at 11, I've got an hour. That's playing. If I leave at 10 past 11, the longer I wait, the faster I'll have to drive to get there.
Yeah,
so
correct.
11's me being good
Why are you driving at 11 o'clock at night?
to collect my wife who's at a party.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
picking her up at midnight, so it'll take me an hour to get there. Then I'll be back here about 1 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, like I said, be safe travels to you both.
Safe
Yeah.
travels.
as long as your car doesn't turn into a pumpkin at midnight.
I know. I turn into the pumpkin. The car's okay. The seat turns into the pumpkin. Hey, talking about pumpkin, I had pumpkin squash soup today. It was absolutely delicious.
That
Yum.
sounds
Oh,
nice.
that sounds
Yeah.
nice.
My wife's a
Yum,
great
yum.
cook. And I'm not saying that just because if I don't say it, she'll stop cooking for me. I say it because it's true.
Wonderful.
I wouldn't actually slag my wife's cooking.
Never a good idea.
Never, never, never. I'm
Never.
glad she's no in, she's no listening, so I'm okay. But
Have
she
you
might
watched-
watch back. But ladies and gents, boys
You
and
might watch
girls,
the stream.
thank you for joining us because I've got to go, and I'll see you on Wednesday, and
Yep.
I'll see you next week. Next week, I might even remember to do the music before I go, before we start again. But thank you all for joining us, and I'll catch you all later. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls, remember, I'm not old, I'm classic. PJ
Yay.
maybe, and the gang. Out.
Good night, folks.